And good evening, everyone. This is the Rooftop Sports back for some Friday night baseball where it is the Seattle Mariners against the Milwaukee Brewers, as the Mariners will be going to their first road trip after a 3-4 start, especially with some that offense, pretty good offense. Not so much. But anyways, I am also joined by our special guest. We got Steve Awake Silver, 54%. Because that 54% is now so iconic. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just excited to watch some Major League
Yeah,
Baseball. I mean, that day off
I'm
felt
with you.
like an eternity. It felt like another off season again. That's
Oh,
like
I don't
the
know. I don't know, man. I think it was perfect timing. I think it's a kind of a breather, a way to decompress after the first homestand of the season. And I'm sure that it was, obviously travel day, but I'm sure it was well welcomed. Just to kind of get that, come down a little bit off that high of the opening weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a tough week, and at least it was. I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, the team easily could have been like 1-6 with how they were playing, especially against Boston, where a couple of those games they did win at literally the skin of their teeth. So fortunately, it's a 3-4
Yes.
start, and hopefully they get it turned around. But despite how the offense has been, as they have reached in bottom rankings, anything positive takeaways for this offense and this team in general?
Oh, absolutely. I think the first thing that you have to look at is the quality of at bats, because granted, when you look at the 74 strikeouts over the first 70, the first 7 games, that's all. It gives a lot of people a lot of pause. But one of the things that you take away from a lot of these at bats is they're not chasing. That's the one thing that I've seen. They're actually showing a lot of patience in certain at bats, is where they're not chasing the sweeper, they're not chasing the changeup down in the zone. They're actually trying to wait for that fastball. Now, granted, the problem with that is when they are getting the fastball, they're getting them at the top of the zone, and they're not able to time that up. So they're swinging through the fastball a little bit. But the takeaway for me of the first weekend of the season was the fact that they, the patience that they're showing at the plate. And I actually think that's going to come back and be a positive, because they're not just going to get in desperation mode, you know what I mean, and start swinging at everything like we saw at the beginning of last season.
Oh yes, last season was the season of chasing, and there were times, like, despite of everything you would say, there were times where when we saw Julio, and there were times he was still trying to kill the ball, and I go, Julio,
Yeah.
you don't have to hit a home run. You can just move the guy. That's all you got to do.
Yes. Yes.
But hopefully we don't see that anytime in the future. We probably will, but hopefully it's just a little bit better this time. And how are your feelings on the Mariners playing against a 4-1 Milwaukee Brewers team?
Well, I think tonight's matchup could play into their hands. Freddie Peralta, I know that he got off to a good start this season. He's 1-0. I think he's got a sub-2 ERA. But when you look at his pitch combinations, he throws the four-seam fastball 54% of the time. Sliders about 22% of the time. So he's really, like, by and large, a two-pitch pitcher. So if they're going to be in a situation, especially in the top of the first inning, right out of the gate, if they're going to get pitches early in the count that they can see, and they can actually put good bat to ball and drive, I'd like to see them take advantage of Peralta early in counts and get on the board early.
Let's hope that happens. And the other pitcher, of course, is going to be Logan Gilbert. Last outing, he had a 7-inning effort, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and also 8 strikeouts, hoping that he can continue that through, as he has been arguably, as of now, the best starter on the Mariners rotation. And Sour Vanilla's here. Yes, it's nice. Yeah, what's up? It's all going good. It's nice to see you watch the Mariners and call it for us. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm covering the game, so you can see a much more.
Why you got to be sour, Vanilla?
perspective.
Why you got to be so sour, Vanilla? It's not that serious, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
I
funny.
know. Yeah, I have a lot of funny fans here. They built this channel, so I can't complain much. And looks like we got Julio Rodriguez vibing with the Brewers. He's just saying hello to all of them. And the Mariners baseball is coming up real soon, so hopefully with a 3-game series, Mariners can at least do something in this series, because after this, it's going to be against the Toronto Blue Jays, and we all know It's never a walk in the park when you go to Toronto, and especially when they come to Seattle, because it's basically another road game in some capacity.
A lot of capacity, actually. Those Blue Jays fans from Vancouver really show out, don't they?
They really do show up, and not only do they show up, they really show their passion, and sometimes in a way where they take it too far. And I've had experience with Blue Jay fans where they took it way too far. Like there was this one guy, the first thing he says, like, "How many World Series do you have?" 0. And I'm like, "Okay."
Well, let me ask you a question, Blue Jays fans. When was your last World Series title? 93.
93.
To put that in perspective, I was in the 7th grade the last time the Toronto Blue Jays were relevant. So there you go.
I was 1. I was 1. The 94 strike didn't even happen. There wasn't even a division series either. Not even yet. There was only one. It was back in the 80s due to the lockout.
Well, I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the current divisional structure started in 93, correct?
94, prior to 94 was when they started it. And then...
Okay. So they were still with the 2 division. Okay.
And if only 94 season ended, there would have been the only team in Major League Baseball to get to the playoffs with a below 500 record, and it would have been anyone in the American League West. Because everyone was terrible, with the exception of the Mariners in their last 10 or 12 games after their roof collapsed.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the roof. The tiles that fell. And if my recollection serves me correct, they were trying to get a waiver to play their home games at Cheney Stadium, and Major League Baseball said no, and they put them on the road.
Yeah, which is it was a pretty weird moment. And now, ironically, we got the Oakland A's playing in a AAA stadium by next year. Correct. Funny how everything works.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going through Major League Baseball. The audacity to allow John Fisher to be able to not only rip his team from the beloved city of Oakland, East Bay. Shout out, what's up, East Bay? To the city of Sacramento, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind that the Major League Baseball Players Association isn't speaking up on this as well, to protect the big league players that are now going back to a AAA park for 3 seasons. It's unbelievable. It's wild, man.
As much as I'm kind of excited to go to a Major League Baseball game, like it's watching a game in the 50s and 60s, I just hope they have the plumbing to support all of the demand and the capacity, because remember, the Seattle Pilots had their
Pilots,
issue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone got stuck in a porta potty.
Oh, you know what? A little history fact. The city of Seattle actually would not pony up the money for Dewey Soriano, who I believe was being bankrolled by I think he was being bankrolled by the majority owner, or the former majority owner of the Cleveland Indians. And so they didn't have the funds to actually, bankroll a Major League Baseball team. And so they were asking help from the city of Seattle. City of Seattle said, we're not doing anything. And of course, they had a water main that was put in the 1930s for the original Seattle Rainiers. And so anytime they had a crowd of over 10,000 fans at Sick Stadium, they would have plumbing issues, major plumbing issues. And, you can imagine.
Imagine so. And we are just getting started, and we have the first 2 pitches in, and those first 2 pitches were brought to you by SeatGeek. Use my promo code to get $20 off. And we are just outside for a ball. It's 2-1, and yes, we are underway here at the stadium that was known as Miller Park. J.P. Crawford is working on a 2-1. That's actually encouraging. And now here's Peralta, the pitch. Here's the pitch. And that is up high for ball 3. 3-1 to count. And yes, use that promo code Rooftop Sports to get $20 off, especially for the next coming home series, which is next week. J.P. Crawford, 35 doubles last season. Here's the 3-1. And that is inside for ball 4.
You got to figure at some point this offense for Seattle is going to get going, but right now they're having a difficult time.
Because he gets on base.
And he got on base. Movie never gets old. Fortunately, that movie and everything of that came at the expense of the Seattle Mariners 2002. And now here's his batting number 2. Here's the pitch. Foul ball.
The the one thing that we should that we should like to see is maybe getting Julio in motion, actually, start applying pressure on the base paths a little bit, especially now that you got a guy like Julio who can do some damage, use that power to the gaps.
Really can. Here's the 0-1, and it's fouled away. 0-2.
0-2.
Two-time American League All-Star Julio Rodriguez. He led the team in average hits, runs, home runs, and RBIs last season. He basically did it all. And that August Julio would really do it as well, as he won. Look at that OPS of 1.197, and we are looking at the 0-2 pitch, and that is low for ball one. Good eye. Good eye. Thank you for not swinging that, because you swing at a lot of things.
So in ahead 0-2, you're going to start sweeping, seeing the change low and in, or you're going to start seeing the sweeper low and away. There's the fastball.
And now we're looking at a 1-2 count for Julio. And now here is the pitch, and that was right in the middle. Strike three called, and down goes Julio, and there is one out for the Mariners.
Let me ask you a question. Doesn't that upset you? You know what I mean? Not even swinging.
Not even swinging, right? It was practically a meatball pitch.
You got to be aggressive, even down 1-2.
Even so, and now we got Polanco up to the plate. He's looking to get something going, as he has struggled at the start of the season. And now here's the pitch, and that is fouled away. That's going to be strike one. It looks like we got some fans coming in here. Thank you. Put those comments out there. Let me know how you feel about this Mariners team right now. And yep, Julio seems to be guessing. Polanco's batting 154. No RBIs to show for it.
Solid.
No home runs. And now here's the 0-1. And that is up high for a ball. Yep. We're looking at a 1-1 count.
Fastball up in the zone, looking to see if you get a swing on that pitch.
Career versus Freddie Peralta, 0 for 3. And we're looking at the 1-1. And now here's the 1-1. And that is up high for ball 2. 2-1. And Peralta, other than Julio's having a tough time looking for that strike zone. And in the key stats, best strikeout rate, he is number 4 behind Strider, Blake Snell, and Kevin Gausman. Who the Mariners should have got was Blake Snell. And now here is the 2-1 pitch. And that is inside for ball 3. 3-1. Good eye by Polanco. And hopefully
he's going to have to come after him at this point. Down 3-1. In this count, Polanco is going to get his pitch right here.
Let's see if he does, and hopefully he can make the most of it. And now here is the 3-1 pitch, and that is foul ball. It kind of went breaking at the last second. It looked like a slider right from there. And we're looking at a full count, 3-2. 14 pitches in for Peralta. And Flick of the Switch makes a good point that 5 of our starters are batting under 200. Hopefully that's just a small sample size. Hopefully that won't be the reflection of this season. And now we're looking at the 3-2 pitch. And fouled. He's still fighting it off.
Fouled away. So you're seeing a lot of pitches now on the inner half of the plate, if not in the left-handed batter's box at this point. They're trying to get him. He's fishing. Peralta right now is fishing.
He is definitely fishing. And now against lefties, he does do better against the righties. Now the throw to first, and that is in time. JP Crawford got back. Couldn't tell if he was any closer or
was that really necessary, the throw to first? I mean, is Julio really in a situation where he's going to swipe a bag in that moment?
Or it was JP. And now we're looking at the full count, 3-2. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is already 2 down. JP Crawford got on base, but now the Mariners, it felt like at a blink of an eye, already 2 outs in this inning.
Good pitch.
It was a 97 and just couldn't get the barrel on it.
4-seam dotted right on the outside half. Good pitch.
And now we're looking at 16 pitches for Peralta. Now it's Mitch Haniger, one of the more beloved Mariners in history. Here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. Just missed the strike zone. Catcher really tried to sell it. Last game, Mariners lost 8-0. And one thing I learned, do not go on Twitter when the Mariners play like that. Just don't. Is the 1-0 pitch. one thing I learned when the Mariners play like that, that's when the fan base is absolutely most divided. You got the cheerleaders versus the realists versus the doomers. It's a huge mess when you have all three of them, or if more, put together.
I'll
And
tell you
now,
what, man, the Doomers are beautiful, though. I love the Doomers. I
Yeah.
can't get enough of Doomsday Mariner Twitter.
Actually, they're my favorite because at least they're honest about it. And now we're looking at a 2-1 count, 19 pitches in for Peralta. The only good thing out of this inning, at least took a few pitches to get these guys out, except Julio. And now we're looking at the 2-1 pitch for Mitch Haniger, and here it is. And that is popped up, and this will probably do it. Peralta's right there, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. One man left on, nothing doing. We go to the bottom of the inning. It is 0-0 so far, and let me take a quick breather. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, and if you happen to, even if you're a Brewers fan, if you happen to be seeing this, get your $20 off for the next game tomorrow. Or if you're a Mariners fan waiting for the next week against the Cubs, go ahead and take advantage. Now, take me your thoughts on that first inning.
I thought the big eye opener was that Polanco at bat. You work a 3-1 count. You're going to get a fastball at some point, but Peralta comes in with two pitches. Essentially a foot in off the plate, two pitches that easily could have been taken for a walk, and all of a sudden now with one out, you have two runners on versus Mitch Haniger coming out with a runner on and two outs. I don't know. I thought it was poor recognition on the part of Polanco, and being a little bit more patient in 3-1. I don't know. That to me was the big one right there.
It reminds me, like when I play softball, like when I'm on either a 3-1 count, well, we start with 1-1s, but when I'm on a 3-1 count, I take the pitch no matter what.
3-1, you take 3-1?
I just take it. I just let it happen because one thing I learned in softball, hitting pop flies is so easy, unfortunately.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why I'd rather just take the walk because I can do the base running.
Right. I think what I love about certain players, the guys that have the mentality that a walk is just as good as a single, which is just as good as a double, as long as you're getting on base.
Exactly. And now here is the pitch by Logan Gilbert, and that's fouled away. Reminds me of John Olerud. He was that perfect guy where he was perfectly fine with a walk, didn't care much as long as he was on base. And now here is Jackson Chourio. I can't even say his name, but he's batting leadoff. And now we're looking at the 0-1 pitch. He's batting .350 with a homer. Here's the pitch. Ooh. And now here's a ground ball right to Polanco. The throw to first, and it's in time. And that is Luke Raley at first base, who's taken over for Ty France, as Ty France is celebrating the birth of his son, and hope maybe he'll raise him to be France Jr. to be a Major League Baseball player. Who knows? But
congratulations, Ty.
Yes, Ty France absolutely deserves it. Deserves every bit of congratulations. And now we're looking at the number 2 batter. And here is Logan Gilbert, the pitch. And a swing. And it's a foul ball.
Yep, foul ball. Fastball right at the top of the zone. What is it, 96, 97?
97. And William Contreras, he's batting second in the order. Batting .263. No home runs and 2 RBIs. And now here is the pitch. And that is low. Hits the dirt for ball 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert, that was an 87-mile-an-hour pitch. He has 4 pitches in. Mariners are wearing their blue jerseys.
Yep, road blues.
And now here's the 1-1. And that is a fly ball to center field, but Julio is there, and he makes the catch.
Looks like a little cutter at the top of the zone right there. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 things that I think of when I think of this stadium. 1, the big slide, and 2, the 2002 All-Star game that ended in a tie. That's the 2 things I think about. And I think this is not Christian. It's Christian Yelich, the slugger of the Brewers. Yeah. He struggled the last 2 years, but he's really picked it up. I think he did better last year, actually. He's batting .368 with 2 home runs. And now here's the pitch. And that is up high for a ball.
Again, three straight batters where you see Logan right there starting off fastball up.
And career against Logan, 2 for 3 with a home run. And now here's the pitch.
Nice.
And that is in there for a strike.
Nice pitch.
And we got some comments coming in, and we'll address those on commercial break.
So you really think about the 2002 All-Star game when you think about Miller Park?
I really do. And now here's the 1-1. And that's fouled.
Yeah, no, I think about Bernie Mac and Mr. 3000.
Mr. 29.99.
Yeah, Mr. 29.99.
He sacrificed the 3,000 just so the Brewers can have the momentum going to the next season. What a man. And now here is the 1-2 pitch. That is outside for a ball. I mean, 29.99 kind of sticks out more than 3,000 anyway. So I think it works out for him. We're looking at
but you know what? But the best part, Bernie learned a lesson, didn't he? Yeah, he did learn a little lesson in that movie.
Strike 3 called, and that will retire the side. And that was an easy 1-2-3 for the Mariners. But can the Mariners offense capitalize on that? We'll find out after this break.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And yes, use that promo code Modern Rooftop for 20% off if you'd like to make some exterior improvements on your home, siding, and painting. And here are the comments that really stuck out. We got Sour Vanilla. When do we start getting rid of the Scott Service campaign? I mean, I was starting that campaign back in like 2018 afterwards. Everyone's now all of a sudden on board. And yep, we grounded ground balls fantastically this inning. No one got hurt this time. Because that was a scary moment with JP Crawford, because I was not ready to lose him for a long period of time. But the next thing you know, that's Brian Bliss going, "Hey, you are being called up." And I'm like, not ready for that yet, but I don't know. And now we are going to the top of the inning. They're talking about someone in the Penn report. None of my concerns, but last season, he's a guy with 36 saves, 1.53 ERA. But now we've got Mitch Garver. He's up to the plate, and that is a strike.
Yep, fastball. Yep.
And Mitch Garver was brought in as a free agent signing. He was the free agent signing of the Mariners. And now here's the 0-1. And now here's a ground ball, and that gets right through for a base hit. It looks like he's going to go to second base. He's running, he's turning, and that should be a stand-up double for Mitch Garver.
Perfect.
And finally, he's made his money's worth for today already.
Yep, there you go. Lead-off double. Just exactly what the doctor ordered in that situation right there.
Exactly
good contact.
What was needed.
Yep.
And you mentioned that was a great contact. He made him dive. Anything else to add to that?
Well, I mean, taking advantage of fastballs early in the count, he got one on the outside half for strike one. Peralta came right back, and he took advantage of it. Perfect.
And now here is the dumper. Cal Raleigh's batting 6th in the order. Usually you're used to him in the 5th of the order, but now he's the 6th man. He's batting .235, which is probably above his career average. And now here's the pitch. And now here is a fly ball to center field, and that is going to be caught. Is Mitch Garver running the third base? Nope. I wouldn't have thought so, but the way that the center fielder positioned himself, he looked like he was getting ready for it without knowing that Mitch Garver's on second base, so it's all good. And now whoever we got next, he is 7th. I think it's not Ty France. I think it's going to be Luke Raley, because Ty France is on that paternity leave.
Correct. It is Luke. Yep.
Luke Raley, who was the guy that was traded for Jose Caballero. And
Great
now
trade.
hopefully he can
Great
make
trade.
something happen. Yes. And now here is the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. The catcher really tried to frame that, try to sell it to him. So that's going to be ball one.
Try to frame something a foot outside.
He did. He really wanted that. And now here's the 1-0. And that is a foul ball by Luke Raley. And that's going to be a 1-1. Although the Mariners haven't scored yet, the good thing about this so far is that there's at least a lot of pitches being thrown by Freddie Peralta. It's already 25 pitches going into the second inning. Career versus Peralta, 0 for 2. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and the throw back to second. Carver had quite the lead.
Yeah, not in time.
And now that's going to be a 1-2 for Luke Raley, already down to 2 strikes. Miles Burkham going, who do you prefer for manager? Joe Madden's still looking for a job, even though that's not a well-received comment. Especially the Mariners Mojo. They'd be the first to tell you that. And now we're looking at the 1-2 count. And now here's the pitch. And now here, fouled back.
Fouled back to the screen. Fastball outside. Yep.
Remember the good old days when I was actually old enough when there wasn't even a screen. Especially when Randy Johnson threw that pitch and went into the stands. And now we're looking at the 1-2. And now here's the pitch.
Got him.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Got fooled on that one, strike 3. Christian, howdy, rooftop. Yes, howdy to yourself, partner. And now we got 2 outs already. As soon as the Mariners get a man on base, you blink an eye and it's 2 outs. And this inning's going a lot quicker.
Well, he had Raley out in front on that slider right there. Back foot slider. That was a beautiful pitch, actually.
He is a good pitcher. Now here, who we got? I think it's Canzone. Yep, it is Canzone. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. He chased. He got fooled on that one. Canzone's only hit this season is that home run, the 3-run homer, which brought all of our hopes up for the moment. And now we're looking at the 0-1. And here's the pitch.
Strike.
And that's just for a strike. That was his pitch right there.
That was his pitch.
The 0-2. Peralta up to 30 pitches now. Canzone's got an interesting batting stance. And now here is not yet the 0-2 pitch.
Nope.
And that's outside just barely. I feel like the umpire from Boston would have called that a strikeout. 2.
Yeah, generous strike zone for sure.
Generous. Now we're looking at 1-2. And now here's the pitch.
Got him.
And a swing and a miss at the dirt, strike 3. I had a feeling there was a strikeout because flick of the switch must be ahead of me. And I could tell by saying, that's all I need to know. And now we're at the bottom of the inning, and there's still no score.
Absolutely, man. Wasted opportunity. You get a leadoff double, and you can't cash in. And these are the little things that right now that the Mariners are struggling with. Picking up, taking advantage of sacrifice, even getting a single in this, taking an early 1-0 lead. These are the things that the small fundamentals of playing baseball right now that they're just not getting ahead of right now.
It's just doesn't seem to be clicking. No barrels are hitting the bat. And I remember last year we were complaining about this offense. We were complaining about Teoscar and Eugenio, and now it's like Mariners have already on the pace.
Well, the one of the things that I wanted to see was how quick they were going to get away from what they were saying in spring training. They were talking about being more of a station to station contact hitting team, potentially putting runners in motion, maybe utilizing some of that speed. We haven't seen that at all this year. As a matter of fact, it seems to me that they're doing what they were doing last year, which was waiting for a 3-run home run that just never seemed to materialize.
And that's last year's team was more designed for that, but this year's team, absolutely not. Reminds me of a time, remember when the Mariners really at one point tried to get away from they like really got away from power, and that was 2010 when they really tried to move everyone around, and that didn't work either.
Yeah, the the Jack Zarenzek version of Billy Ball at that point, where they were trying to go more contact OBP orientated type of offense, where your first baseman was Casey Kotchman. I think what Adam Kennedy was your second baseman that year, and the bottom fell out of that offense very, very. As a matter of fact, that was historically one of the worst offenses in the modern history.
It was, and then we're looking at a strike one from Gilbert, and I remember, and then just a couple years later, Zarenzek gave up and just went for all home runs in 2013.
Correct. Well, it was the 2010 season that made him dump his own philosophy.
He did, because he actually had a decent start in 2009. There actually was hope, and then after 1 year, he's like, nope, never mind. Well, now we're looking at a 1-1. Here's the pitch. Oh, and that is a fly ball to right field, and that is gone. Already down 1-0, and that was a home run by Milwaukee. And look at those flashing lights and how they do the celebration. Everything's dimming.
That was that was a good piece of hitting, considering where that pitch was located, up and out of the zone a little bit, tailing toward the left-handed batter's box, and he put a good charge into that ball and take it the other way. That was not an easy pitch to hit right there.
That was Willie Adams going opposite direction, exit velocity of 99. And now, if you're a Mariners fan, do not go on Twitter X right now. Here's the pitch, and here is a fly ball to right field, but this time going to be caught, and he makes the catch, and that's Haniger.
Yeah, Hanny right there. Yep.
Gilbert's pitching only 14. It's not like he's pitching bad. It's just one just happened to get away. And that's what the issue with the Mariners is they do have that home run prone problem. Yes, they don't walk, but it's somehow made up in a negative way by home runs.
But when you look at that pitch, it wasn't out over the plate. That was up and away a little bit. He had to really work for that. But then again, it's taking advantage of early fastballs. So, right now the Brewers are doing just a little bit better job of the Mariners.
They are. And we're looking at an 0-1 count, and this is Rhys Hoskins. And now here's the pitch. And check swing, did he go? Oh, yes, he absolutely did. If that was a save, I'd be like, what? Mariners Facts says probably the ball game with our offense. I can't blame you how you feel, considering how it's been going for the last few games. And now we're looking at an 0-2 for Hoskins. Gilbert's a set. And now here's the pitch. And that hits the ball. That hits the dirt for ball one.
Yep, trying to get a chase right there.
It really did. And it's a 1 for 2 against Logan Gilbert with a home run, probably last year at T-Mobile Park. And now here is the 1-2 pitch.
There it is right there.
And check swing, did he go? Yep. Yes, he did. Sure Strike 3.
Good pitch.
That will be 2 down.
Good pitch right there.
Really was. Flick of the switch says not too hard to do better than the Mariners right now. I guess so. I guess they set that standard.
Oh, come on. We're only 8 games into the season right now. Come on now.
Just be warned. They might tell you, I'll go back to this Brewers game if they miss the playoffs by 1 game.
Well, yeah, okay. So I'm guilty of doing. I was guilty of doing that last year as well too. Games in April where you should have won ball games. Yeah.
And now here's 100%. The 1-0 pitch. But the funny thing is, like the 2 Cleveland games, it was like you almost felt like there was nothing they could have done, but at least one of those Boston games were winnable for sure that they lost. And now we're looking at a 2-0.
Sure, for sure.
And now here's the pitch.
That's a strike.
Yep, that is a strike.
Is it me or does Scott Service look a little nervous? He's at the top of the dugout. There you go.
Now here's a line drive, and that's going to drop in for a base hit going to Julio Rodriguez, and that's going to be a single.
Yep, good piece of hitting right there.
It really was. And in case you're wondering of the history of the Brewers, they were also once a Seattle team called the Seattle Pilots in 1969. Played their lone season, and their biggest highlight of that season was a fan got stuck in a porta potty. That's their highlight. Unfortunately.
Bought by a used car salesman by the name of Bud Selig.
He was, but the Bud Selig, and that is a strike. And I remember how much criticism that he always got, but now I think fans might be taking it back because Manfred's also not exactly a popular figure. And here's Joey Ortiz.
I have no idea how you can be worse than Bud Selig, but I think Manfred has been able to do that. So that's actually talent right there.
That is talent. And I think Bud Selig was the one that closed the door on Pete Rose, because I think the commissioner before him was considering it.
Well, the deal was that Pete Rose was going to be suspended for a year, and under the terms of him and the deal he made with Bart Giamatti was that after the initial 1 year suspension, he would be reinstated. But Giamatti died of the heart attack, and Selig didn't honor the handshake agreement.
Oh,
and also Pete Rose took him to court, and you don't do that to Major League Baseball.
And that's a foul ball. Regardless how it went, it's still tragic that he still has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
It is tragic, and it's also entirely hypocritical considering Major League Baseball and the amount of revenue they generate through gambling sponsorships. So it's okay.
And how they're letting Shohei Ohtani pretty much get away with it.
Oh, for sure.
And now here's the 2-2 pitch by Gilbert. He's taking his time. Here it is. And is that a swing and a miss? That was foul ball. Yeah.
Foul ball. Yeah. And the reality is Pete Rose is now in his 80s, so it's not like he's actually going to get a job inside baseball at this stage of his life. But to be able to be reinstated, just to have the opportunity for the Baseball Writers of America to at least have a vote on him, at that point, I don't think Pete Rose is asking for much.
He really isn't. And then you got someone like Jim Gray that was really pushing him in 1999 at the Atlanta Braves Yankees World Series, which caused a huge amount of controversy. And even Chad Curtis to say, I ain't interviewing with you after what you did to Pete. Bye. Here's a 2-2. And that's inside. And stolen base.
Yep.
And this is actually getting to be a long inning. I mean, even after that home run, it was still going by quickly. And now this has been going quite a bit. We're looking at a 3-2.
Looked like that pitch got away from Logan at that with that release right there. Not exactly the pitch you want to throw at 2-2.
And we're looking at a 3-2 pitch. Hopefully gets the strikeout to Ortiz. And now here it is. And now here's a line drive, and Cantor's got to make a run. And that gets over his head. And the runner is for sure going to score on that one. And the throw to second, not in time. And the Brewers now take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, you knew Logan had to come back at him with a fastball in that situation, and he had good placement on the fastball. But again, a little up, bat head comes through the zone clean, gets a nice base hit, nice little double right there.
And now we got fans already saying it. At least one of them, ball game,
game over.
But hey, this is the safe space to do it. Just don't do it on Twitter. Here's the pitch.
Ooh. Wow.
And that was just missed it.
Okay, so they're not going to get the low. They're not going to get the low strike tonight, huh?
No, we don't have that Boston umpire, unfortunately. And this is Bryce Terang, 438 with 2 RBIs. And here's the pitch, and that one is a strike.
I think this
guy has a.
The guy right now that's hitting for Milwaukee, Bryce Terang. I think he's related to former Mariner outfielder Brian Terang.
Oh, and this is low for ball 2. Now you got me curious. I got to look up Brian Terang.
Yeah, former Mariner bench player Brian Terang. Yeah, I think he might be his kid.
Looks like he's in the 90s because I can tell by the pictures and the quality of it. And now we're looking at
like early 90s, like 93, 94.
2-1, and that is a fly ball to left field, but Canzone's there to make the catch, and that's going to retire the side. And let's see, Brian Terang, not saying on the baseball reference, maybe it'll say something else otherwise. Maybe if there's he's the father.
There you go.
He was a Mariner from 93 to 94.
Brian Turang.
Brian Turang spent a lot of time in the minors with the Mariners, and then ended his career with the Blue Jays in their AAA system.
Not surprised.
He was a stolen base specialist, at least in the minors.
He was a guy like Charles Gibson.
Charles Gibson.
Yeah, he was one of those guys where you bring him in for pinch running situations. You give him the occasional start, but he was essentially the 25th guy on the roster.
It makes me think that makes me think of utility players. Who was your most favorite utility player of all time?
Easy.
For the Mariners.
Easy. I got two names. Number one, Rob Ducey was my guy. I'd like it for those longtime Mariner fans know exactly who Rob Ducey was. But also in '95, there was the Mariners had a guy coming off the bench, lefty. His name was Doug Strange.
Darren Bragg?
No,
Doug Strange.
Doug Strange.
Doug Strange with that most random clutch home run and the bases loaded walk against the Yankees.
Yep.
My favorite of all time is Rich Amaral.
Rich Amaral is the best. As a matter of fact, Rich Amaral also played with a guy who used to play for the A's. I think he only came over for 1 year. His name was Brent Gates, the Gator.
Brent Gates, I heard of him briefly.
Yeah. Lee Tinsley. Oh yeah, dude, I can go on.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Lee.
We everybody should remember '92 when the Mariners had Kevin Mitchell.
Didn't he start the season like all out of shape?
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure. He didn't want to be in Seattle.
Here's the pitch to what was Rojas doing? He didn't even
was
look
he showing
ready.
Bunt?
He was trying to, and he backtracked.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to show bunt right there.
But he's batting .417, probably the most efficient player on the Mariners. And now here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. But he is 0 for 4 against the Peralta. Rojas last season batted .272, did show some glimpse of potential. Now here's the pitch, and here's a fly ball to left field, and that is foul. It kind of looked good for a moment. And the fans going crazy of did he get that ball? Or he's angry he didn't get it. It's just Josh Rojas.
Well, in this situation, down 2 runs, the mentality has to be contact at this point. Put balls in play.
Put them in play. Here's the pitch. Up high for ball. 2-2. Yes, get on base. Don't try to kill the ball too much.
That's exactly right. Just nice fluid swings, put bat to ball, get on base. Good contact.
And now 2-2 for Josh Rojas. Scott Service played 20 career games against the Brewers. Interesting. Here's the pitch. Oh, he went around and strike 3.
By the way, so in 1998, Scott Service was the catcher for the Chicago Cubs. He was behind the plate when Mark McGwire hit his 70th home run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a part of those Cubs teams. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy to think that Griffey was actually leading the race in the first half. Everyone seemed to forgot about that one. And here's the pitch. And that is a strike.
Yeah.
Then Griffey's August, because he seems to do
and
less than August.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Junior ended up finishing with 58 that year.
56.
56. Yeah, I knew.
Career high was always 56.
56. Yeah, 56. There you go.
He was 97. He was closer. Ish.
He won Junior won the AL MVP that year. Did he not?
97. And now here's a fly ball. That's a pop-up, but a lot of running going on. But he makes the catch.
He's there.
Already 2 outs.
97.
And yeah. We're looking at the Cubs series. Cody Bellinger of the Cubs will be coming to Seattle Friday the 12th, where the Cubs did sign Cody Bellinger at the 11th hour, considering that nobody would budge.
You knew that was going to happen, though.
Exactly. And a swing and a miss by Julio Rodriguez, and it's now down to 0-1. He almost didn't have to do that. But we're looking at an 0-1 count. And now here's the 0-1. And another swing and a miss. That was even going to the dirt. And now Julio really is trying to play hero right now. But that was a slider.
Yep, slider. Down in the dirt. Good pitch.
Julio
Come on, Julio, you're
Rodriguez
better than that.
is 0 for 1. This is then again, Julio doesn't really play well in April. And now here's the 0-2. This time he doesn't swing. I feel like that deserves a slow clap for not swinging it. And I do have a slow clap clip to use too. And now we're looking at the 1-2 for Julio. And now here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. He's making it up with 2 balls and 2 strikes now. A little bit better this time. If you're going to strike out, make him earn it.
And if you remember in his first at bat, Peralta came back with a fastball right down Broadway for the K. So you have to look out for that as well too.
And we got a 3-2 count. So Julio is actually watching. But now what does Peralta do on this one? Does he go right after him or does he try a breaking thing? Because Julio may swing at it anyway. So I think he has plenty of options. Here's the 3-2 and a swing and a miss. Strike 3. It's exactly what I was thinking. He went with the breaking stuff and he knew he would bite. That's a good, I have to give him credit for that. And now here we go to the bottom of the inning and let me take another 20-second breather. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, if you're totally up for a Mariners game against the Cubs, that's if you're feeling it by then, depending how the Mariners do. Use my promo code to at least save $20 so you can save money on food. Or maybe a $20 parking if you find one. Who knows? But not looking good so far for the Mariners. 6 strikeouts through 3 innings.
Yep.
Lots of those swings and misses. And just like Julio was like the perfect explaining example of he was chasing.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about this is when you look at Peralta's makeup, you're going to get the fastball. There's no doubt about it. It's his primary pitch, and just like Gilbert's doing with the Brewers himself, you would think that you would see a little bit more contact coming from this lineup. Even if you do have a couple guys striking out, you would expect to see a little bit more contact against a guy like Peralta. But this is worst case scenario.
And that's what we are watching right now. And a lot of us fans were thinking the strikeouts could not be any worse than it was last season if you got rid of Teo and Suarez. But doesn't seem to be the case right now. And now Gilbert is pitching, and now here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball, and that actually kind of gets away.
A little bit, yeah. And it makes you wonder, is this a talent issue or is this a philosophical issue when it comes to, hitting strategy? You know what I mean? It's like, is this by design? Because you would like to think that the Mariners actually have talent at the plate.
The talent is absolutely in no question. It's just Barrel's just not hitting the bat, and it's about how they're swinging and when to swing. And now it's a 2-1 but for Logan Gilbert, 36 pitches in, and now here's the pitch, and now here's a pop up to
straight up.
That's gonna be straight up to Luke Raley, and he's there to make the catch. Now we got one down, 37 pitches in for Logan. And it's not like he's pitching terrible. It's just how the Brewers were able to put the barrel on the bat.
Yep. Being aggressive early in counts.
And now wondering who is next on the plate right now. And we are going to look, it's William Contreras.
Yeah.
And now here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. And we got a Brewers fan. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining it. It's welcome for Mariner fans or Brewer fans or from wherever. And we're looking at a 1 barrel on the ball flick of the switch. Thanks for correcting me.
Strike.
But you know what I meant.
For sure.
Flick of the switch is one of my nitpicker kind of fans, which says it is good to have. Nothing wrong with it. William Contreras is still working on a 1-1. 156 hits last season. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to hit the dirt for a ball. Yep. He was not fooled on that. 2 multi-hit games this season. Gilbert at 40 pitches. With this pace, I'm not sure if he'll go beyond 6. Who knows? And now here's the 2-1. And now here's a ground ball right to JP. Should be the easy play, the throw to first, and it's in time. Rarely didn't even have to move on that. And now we got 2 down.
Yep, good pitch. Good pitch. Get the ball in the dirt, ground ball out. Perfect. That's exactly what Logan needed in that situation right there.
Oh yeah, sometimes more efficient than the strikeout because it just takes that one pitch.
Exactly.
Logan Gilbert's on the road. It's more friendly to him than at home. 9-2. And now here's Christian Yelich, their best hitter. And that is up high for a ball. We're looking at a 1-0. He struck out in the first inning. And it was that 1-2-3 inning.
Again,
now here's the pitch.
Fastball.
Up high for a ball. 2-0. Logan's getting close to 50 already. He's a career 286 hitter. That is Christian Yelich. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. That was a nice breaking stuff right there.
Right at the top of the zone. Yep.
Right at the cusp. And good thing he swung at it.
2-1.
And now we're looking at the 2-1. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Good pitch.
And now just need one more strike to get him out. Christian Yelich does strike out slightly below the average. And his walk rate is pretty good. Now here's the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. After trailing with a 2-0 count.
By the way, that was
a strikeout.
That was a beautiful sequence of pitching because you got off speed at the top of the zone, then down in the dirt, and then you come right back with a fastball. Fastball high, you change the eye level and swinging.
It's a way to mess him up.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the strategy. But unfortunately for the Mariners, it's just too predictable. Just throw gas on them and one breaking stuff, and they're gone. And we go to the top of the inning. Still 2-0 Brewers. Hopefully the Mariners can break out into something. Because at least the Mariners are not in T-Mobile Park with that thick air that we usually get in April.
Oh, yeah, the dreaded marine layer.
That's what they call it. Yeah, that's why maybe in April we start our entire season on the road. Now they're showing McDonald's commercials, making me hungry.
That's funny. I got the Brewers broadcast over here.
Oh, the Brewers. Oh, yeah. Are you on the MLB app?
Say it again.
Are you on the MLB app?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Their servers are really good.
Yeah.
They are always up to date. I'm using that Xfinity one, and it's always like sometimes behind.
Yeah.
Fubo doesn't. No.
Yeah. So you got the Root Sports feed, correct?
I did it just for everyone else, for all of my fans, so they don't have to. So I made that move to make everyone else happy. If it wasn't for the channel, I would have been like, nah.
I got you.
Because I do have T-Mobile, so that means I do get the app, but unfortunately, blackout rules are a thing.
Yeah, that is, well, the beauty about being in Michigan is that I don't have to deal with the 90-mile blackout rule. Yep.
Just as long as you're not in Washington, I believe Utah applies, and Oregon and Idaho too even is a part. And they're showing all the legends from the Brewers, including Bob Uecker, aka Harry Doyle of the Cleveland Indians in Major League.
Fantastic guy.
0-1. He is a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
And here's the pitch. Low for ball 1. And the funny thing is about Major League, they used the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium.
Yep.
In that
County
movie.
Stadium. Yep. Old County Stadium. Yeah, for sure.
I would have loved to go to that stadium. And now here's the 1-1. And did he go? He did not. Which is why I miss the old days of baseball when they had just a simple stadium. Everything felt intimate. But at least the Sacramento A's will give us that experience because I plan to go to some games next year. Now here's the 2-1 pitch. And now here's a ground ball right to Peralta. And he was working the count well.
That was such a terrible swing. He rolled over on that pitch. Instead of staying back and trying to drive through and put a good bat to the ball, you can just tell he rolled over on that one.
And now who's up to the plate? It's going to be Mitch Haniger. Can Mitch Haniger bring his 2021 self into this team? And here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball.
I mean, outside of Ty France, both of these guys, Mitch Haniger and Ty France, have actually gotten off to a decent start. It looks like Mitch came into the season ready to go. So,
I mean, the guy, he is a man built for Seattle. He loves everything about Seattle. 2-0 count. Peralta's at 52 pitches. Now here's the 2-0. And now here's a fly ball to deep center field. Is that going to be enough? Nope. Goes to the warning track.
Nope.
And that's going to be an out. It looks promising from that angle. Just like the Julio fly out against the Guardians looked really promising, but the cameraman set the camera too high because even he was fooled.
But see, all that's promising though, right, is when you get solid contact, regardless if it's an out or not, eventually those balls are going to start finding holes or you're going to start driving those for doubles. The most important thing is fluid contact.
And that's going to be a strike, and that's for Mitch Garver. And our
Fastball.
friend, the Brewer man, John Fisher, needs to sell the Athletics. It's a travesty that they're moving to Vegas. I have some thoughts on that. Oh, and did that hit him? Yep. He'll take one for the team. I mean, this is going to be the hottest take, and I may upset some Oakland fans, but Oakland they had their problems for 40 or 50 years or so. I mean, there's a reason why the Warriors left. Now, the Raiders is a whole different weird situation itself.
Right, because they wanted the land for free. Oakland wouldn't give it to them, so that's why they moved to Vegas. But think about this, though. The Oakland A's have been playing baseball in the city of Oakland since 1968, so they've had 50-plus years. So that means there's been, in the city of Oakland, there's been administration after administration that has done nothing for that franchise. When you talk about the public trust, yes, it does fall on John Fisher, but it also falls on the city of Oakland as well, too. Right? Both of those guys are in a partnership in order to get something done, and they basically have let the A's and the A's go by the wayside, playing in that stadium that has been falling apart since the 70s.
Oh, and that was a beautiful stadium before the Raiders job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
My father went there, and he tells me how, as much as he hated the A's, he loved going to their games.
Yeah. When the Coliseum was still open, yeah.
And here's the 0-2, and that is low for a ball. I mean, it's just like the Seattle situation with the Sonics. They also had 50-something years to figure it out, 40 years really to figure it out. And that's where, like you said, the administration changes after administration. One person wanted to, the other person didn't.
I also think, a little bit about that is, Seattle kind of went through a little stadium fatigue with Safeco Field.
And the CenturyLink, or Lumen Field, that was. So they were pretty much.
Yeah. And so by the time the Sonics came around in the early 2000s, the city of Seattle had a lot of stadium fatigue. So it's not that much of a surprise. But that being said, though, I mean, to have a team that has brought a city 4 championships like the Oakland A's, and you're not gonna take care of the team that was essentially their
that did it more than anyone else, other than the Warriors. Now here's the 2-2 and strike 3 called, and that's gonna retire the side.
And that bugs me. That bugs me so much. Fastball down, a pitch where you can actually get a bat out in front of it. And you're just left with the
just standing there.
Ugh, good Lord, that frustrates me. Swing is something.
That's funny. For one day we're like swing, and the other day we're like, no, don't swing.
But getting back to the A's thing, I mean, John Fisher is not deserves a lot of blame too, because he's literally gutted that franchise. Like it was known when he took over that this was not going to end well. And, you look at what he's done to the Coliseum, it's in complete disarray. and he's put basically a double A product on a major league field. So you feel bad for the Oakland fans, you really do.
Hopefully, I mean, another way to put it into perspective, because we have seen, although A's may move to Vegas, we have also statistically seen a lot of people from California moving to Vegas. So I guess some Oakland fans, they may do the same. I mean, I've been to Oakland. I once accidentally took the wrong turn while going to the Mariners game, and I wish I can rewind that.
I'll say this, and here's my hot take when it comes to it. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna work out for that franchise in Las Vegas. I don't think they're gonna get the funding for that stadium to get that done.
Oh, you don't? Considering that a lot of things are happening for them, a lot of people are moving. They did that. Do you think it's an all those stadium fatigue thing from the Raiders?
No, I just think that really, because the state of Nevada has already passed. I think already had to pass the bill that already has like $330 million on the table. But for John Fisher to get the rest of the funds needed to secure and get shovels in the ground, I just don't think that's going to go. I don't think it's going to fall through for him. And the question that I have is, what happens within the scope of the next 3 years when everything comes to the surface? What happens with that franchise? Does it permanently stay in Sacramento?
I think that it's not too far crazy to think about, which we'll talk about in moments. And how here's Willie Adams, and now here's the pitch, and that's a ball. And he did hit that solo home run to right field.
Yep.
And career against Logan Gilbert, 2 home runs. Wow. And now here's the pitch.
Nice pitch.
And that is low for a ball. We're looking at a 2-1 count. And here is the pitch. And that is a strike.
Yeah.
He finally got the Boston strike zone on that one. And Gilbert's at 50 pitches.
50 pitches were what in the bottom of the 4th inning? So yeah,
bottom of the 4th inning started. And we're looking at a 2-2 by Willie Adams.
Ooh.
Now here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is low for a ball.
I think my broadcast is a little ahead of you. A little ahead of yours right now.
More than likely. I mean, you're on the MLB app, and now here's the 3-2. And now here's a fly ball to right field, and Julio's got it, and now make the catch. Wonder if I can fast forward just nope, I'm still right on track. Blast you, Xfinity.
We were in sync right there in the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
It's all good though.
But yeah, the Sacramento situation is interesting because the other part is Vivek Ranadive, owner of the Sacramento Kings and that stadium, and that is a ball. He has expressed interest in owning a baseball team, so maybe who knows? I'm not saying that. I don't think Ranadive has necessarily the money to buy it since he's already invested in Sacramento Kings, but you never know. Here's the 1-0 and a swing and a miss, strike 1. Or maybe Ranadive gives Fisher his home in Sacramento because it looks like Fisher wants nothing to do with Oakland anymore, no matter what they try.
Oh boy, that's gone. Vivek Ranadive actually is just out of curiosity. I know that dude is a
1-1 count. And here's a fly ball to deep right field. And that is gone. Forget about that one. That is a home run. And the Brewers are now up 3-0. And that was just absolutely just smoked. Like the moment you saw that, the contact, it was gone.
I mean, that was right over the heart of the plate right there. Those type of mistake pitches where, if you're Logan Gilbert, you want that pitch back.
You definitely do. And it was right pretty much down the middle. And just look at that go. That went into the upper deck. And now the Brewers are having fun. And while the Mariners, well, the only fun you're going to get out of the Mariners is if you go on Twitter. That's all you got to do. And you'll have a lot of fun just arguing with people. And now here's the pitch. And a strike, swing and a miss. Now I kind of want to read. I want to see what they're saying.
I'll reserve the Twitter for post game.
Oh yeah. Now here's Rhys Hoskins, and that is a strike. And we're looking at an 0-2 count for Logan Gilbert. And now here's the pitch. And that is up high for a ball. We're looking at a 1-2 count for Rhys Hoskins. He has 2 home runs this season. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that will be 2 down. I mean, aside from those home runs and the runs giving up, Gilbert's still pitching pretty well. I mean, couldn't pitch any worse than like Kirby and Castillo. It's just those pitches just happen to get away. And we're now at 60 pitches approaching for Logan Gilbert in the bottom of the 4th. 2 outs. Now here's the pitch. And that is a strike.
The one thing that the Mariners have, the one thing that Gilbert has going for him right now is he is able to locate his primary pitches, but he's also actually getting some pretty decent defense behind him tonight, which is something that Kirby didn't get a couple days ago.
Oh, and Kirby, that game was like everything could go wrong went wrong.
Oh, dude, that was ugly. I had the day off, and I tuned in at 1:00 and was watching that game, and literally by the 3rd inning, I'm like, oh boy, you're like, do you really want to sit here and watch the remaining 6 innings?
I at least manned up and watched the highlights just so I can provide a post game, and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. The only thing I was terrified of watching was J.P. Crawford in the collision with Polanco, but aside from that, it's like, I'm to the point where it's like I'm used to it. I don't let something like that ruin my sleep. It's what it is.
For sure. There's an old saying, right? And it's this is such a great saying when it comes to baseball. Like, every team is going to win 50 games, they're going to lose 50 games. It's what you do with the other 62 games that separates you from, being a 500 team or a postseason team. So that being said, you're going to have losses, and you're going to have bad losses, and it's just a part of the game. The key thing is how you regroup. How do you respond to those type of losses, right? Do you let that settle, and do you let that carry over to the next game, or are you going to, take the initiative and, attack your opponent? So far, it looks like the Brewers are taking it to the Mariners.
Yeah, they really do love that 4-1 start, and they're still carrying into it, because I thought they weren't going to really do as much because Craig Counsell just left for the Cubs, and he took a really big payday.
Yeah, but the Brewers are a very talented team, and you would probably expect after the year they had last year there was going to be some carryover, regardless of who was in the dugout. And of course, they brought in Rhys Hoskins. Coming into the season, you probably, when you're taking a look at that National League Central, you would probably have the Brewers up there.
We got Ringo. How just got here? How's it looking? 3-0 and no offense. That's how it's looking.
I think the Mariners have 2 hits so far?
2 hits, and I think they were both from was it Polanco? No, not Polanco. It was definitely the Mitch.
Yeah, the Mitch Garver double, and then the maybe it's only 1.
Oh. And now we're looking at the 1-0. And now here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that's another chase job right there, and that's a strike.
Yep.
And it looks like it is just 1 hit, because the other one was someone got on base because someone got hurt, and I think that was Garver. So Garver's the only one contributing. Here's the 1-1.
Good Lord.
And that is a
Good
ball.
Lord.
2-1. But the Mariners have seen the fewest fastballs this season. So now here's the 2-1. Now here's a ground ball, and that could be something in the throw to first, and it's in time.
It's in
just
time.
Barely.
And that was a terrible.
At least hustled.
That was a terrible swing. I mean, you get the fastball, but of course it's up and in on the hands, and you're swinging.
Oh, painful. And now we are looking at
Dom
next
Canzone.
guy. Dom Canzone. I wonder how that's going to go.
I think you already have that answer.
I think so too. I could really use August Can Zone right now. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. He's just, even Pedro Serrano's now cringing at this. He's like, oh. Look at Service. He's just standing there and like, what the hell's going on? Here's the, and that gets low for a ball. Surprised he didn't swing at that. And Mariners roster moves. Samad Taylor called up from Tacoma.
Good.
And Ty France. Cade Marlowe, you better get ready too. Or maybe Clase. I think he's hurt though. And now here's the 1-1 pitch.
Ugh.
And that is a ball. Ringo, you don't want to sound cynical. You know what? You can say whatever you want on my channel. I am not the police of anything. Say what you need to say. If it feels good, do it. And now here's the 2-1. Now here's a ground ball right to Peralta, and he's out. At least that gave me time to read this. I don't want to be cynical.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. But I don't see what they're trying to do with this lineup. They got rid of Suarez and Kelenic and Teo. They're not hitting a home run team anymore, but the replacements don't get on. There's nothing cynical about them. I mean, all you're doing is just stating the facts.
Well, Ringo, I think there's there's a different approach when it comes to the guys that they got rid of, which was more feast or famine. Now, when you looked at Suarez and you looked at especially Teoscar Hernandez, when they weren't driving balls out of the ballpark, what were they doing? They were striking out at an incredibly high clip. So what the Mariners wanted to be a more contact oriented team this season, and I understand that we're game 8 into the season, and so far the offense hasn't been clicking. But when you look at the fact that these guys are still in their prime and they're still productive ball players, I would probably assume, considering the scope of the season is 162 games long, I would probably assume we're going to start to see these guys, do their jobs. So
let's hope they do. And Ringo also says they're a pitching team, but a massively downgraded offense, which is not far from the truth at all, because Kelenic, I mean, anyone can say what they want about him, but he held it down on defense very well. And look what he did against Bryce Harper with that diving catch. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you as well, Mariners facts.
I will say that defensively, yes, they're not as strong as defensively as they were last year. I think that's quite obvious. And I would probably assume that if the, especially with a massive hole at third base, I would probably assume at some point of the season you'll see that rectified. Now, whether that's Polanco moving over to third, and then they bring up a guy like Ryan Bliss, who knows, maybe. But I would probably assume that defensive issue will get corrected at some point.
That's why they say it's a long season. Mariners, I love this one. Every year, it's early. Yep. Yeah. I remember we said that. Some said that in 2008. Some said that in 2010, 2015, 2017, and 2023. Yep, I remember those years where they were like, nah, it's early. They'll figure it out, and then they don't. Especially 2008, when April they were actually okay, and then when May happened, they just got blown out and humiliated. Yeah. And the only highlight you got before the Felix Hernandez Grand Slam was the Richie Sexton fight.
I forgot about that. I will say this, that yes, you're not going to be able to win a division in April, but that being said, you can easily lose it if you're not careful. April is actually a very big month. The saving grace last year was the fact that, at least their pitching was able at least to keep them close to 500 at the end of April. And I probably assume that, and I'm assuming that's going to happen this year as well, too.
And that was with Matt Brash with a +5 ERA.
Yep.
And his presence is heavily missed. But the thing is, it's not like the bullpen has been that much worse either, even without the two big guys. And here's Joey Ortiz. He had the big double in the second. Here's the pitch. And now here's a ground ball right to J.P. Crawford. The throw to first, and it's in time.
It's in time. My reaction to the last comment that was pointing out that Teo, Suarez and Kelenic's batting average so far this season. My question to you is quite simple. Like, if those guys were still in Seattle's lineup, are you certain that they would be producing at the same level? I don't think so.
No, because you have to also look at the fact of how they're coached and the environment and just basically everything else.
Ballpark and lineup as well too.
Which is why I never agree with people when they say, "Oh, this team is cursed." I'm like, "Nah, there's like 100 other things to it to stack up."
Correct.
And now we're looking at the 0-1 pitch, and that is low for a ball.
Ooh. Ooh, nice play.
I feel like the Mariners are going to regret getting rid of Kelnick. I mean, I already regretted Kelnick and Gino from the very start. Teo, I didn't really mind that much. And now here's the 1-1. And now here's a line drive, and that will be by Rayleigh. The throw to first, and that is in time. That was a great defensive play.
Yep, great diving catch right there by Rayleigh. Good flip. But the thing about this is, and for all those that that love to point out Jared Kelnick last year, you can also remember that he started off very hot for this Mariner team in April, all the way into May, until about mid-May, until he tailed off. And then he was a non-factor until he kicked the water cooler, and then again missed time. So I don't necessarily care what what these players are doing outside of the Mariners organization. The way that you can start telling that these guys have finally turned the corner is if they go through a full season from start to finish, healthy in the lineup and producing. And at that point, you might be able to say they can turn the corner. But until then, they're still the same players to me.
If not for Suarez, at least he's a year older.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the Suarez deal.
I miss him because third base, great defense. He kept Julio calm, especially that Angels game where Julio really blew up, including in front of the fans. So I miss that leadership. So that's who I miss out of all of them. And now here's Jackson Chorio. Can't even say his name. Here's the pitch. And that's a strike. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop out. And we're looking at 68 pitches for Gilbert. He has pitched a little bit better, or pretty much about the same at this point. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike 2. Nice pitch. And that is going to be an 0-2. Kelnick, Ringo says Kelnick is a 204 career hitter. He's not going to turn into Juan Soto. Kelnick is a different player anyway. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that is low for a ball.
Kelnick is exactly what he is. Until he can actually, prove that he can stay in the lineup for a full season, I don't want to hear it. He's going to have stretches where he's gonna hit well, but then it's also mitigated by the fact that he's going to have stretches where he's not going to be able to touch a baseball. So, and
that is a strikeout by Logan Gilbert, and he actually is pitching pretty well. Let's see how many strikeouts he has to his name.
Yeah, Logan, outside of the 2 home runs,
6 strikeouts. It really should be. I would say it really should be a 2-0 game because like you said, that 3-0 with that home run that should have not happened. But those 2 other ones was like there's nothing much he could have done really kind of situation.
Correct.
Gino was basically a Gold Glove at third. Rojas is learning the position. I mean, it could be worse with Rojas. We could have 2019 Ryan Healy. We could have that too, and that was hard to watch.
That's funny.
I think one time he missed a routine pop fly, and he acted like as if he was running for it because he completely mistimed it. Then he got injured towards the pretty much all season, so it didn't really matter. And that season was so blurry that I don't even remember who the third baseman was other than Seager before that. I mean,
prior to Seager at third base, I believe you're looking at Adrian Beltre, correct?
Oh no, we're talking about 2019 with Ryan.
Oh, 2019.
It was Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore got a lot of work.
I thought you were asking who was the third baseman before Seager. I was like, wait a second.
No.
Yeah,
it was Beltre. Yeah.
Ryan Healy. That's a name pull from the past. I completely forgot about him.
Kevin Kirby asked, "Did you see the Bliss missed a pop fly last night?" That's good to know, especially in AAA.
Did not see that.
And now we are getting close to the back of the break, and they're showing that Luke Raley. But hey, Mariners fans, if it really makes you feel better, we've got an exciting A-ball team in Modesto, though, and they've got offense. They got Farmelo. I think he's playing there.
Oh yeah, he is.
Got Emerson. You got
Yep.
Montez. You got Ty Pete. That team is loaded. They won a championship last year for a reason. Here's the pitch.
There you go, JP.
And that is a strike. Now I got the spoiler. Don't tell me what happened yet. We're looking at the 0-1 count. And now here's the pitch. Now here's a base hit by J.P. Crawford. And now we got a man on first base. And let's make this the inning where they do something.
Well, I'll say this, though, right? You're talking about the Modesto Nuts. They're playing in the California League. And so, you're playing in a league where not only do they have a stack lineup, but they're playing in an environment where the ball's going to fly. So,
because isn't the air much thinner down there?
Yeah, I believe they're in the high desert.
I want to go there sometime. Now here's Julio. Can he do something? Here's the pitch, and that nearly gets away. Good stop by the catcher.
Yep.
And that's going to be ball one. And thank you, Julio, for not swinging at that as well.
Ooh.
We're looking at the 1-0 count for Julio Rodriguez. Here's Peralta.
Ooh, I think it hit him.
And now here is the 1-0 pitch. And did that hit him? It looks like, that did hit him. That's going to first base. And, I'll take that. Considering how Julio's been playing this season, take it. Just go.
In this situation, I know that this might be a little old school, but by the way that Polanco is playing at this point, how would you feel if Polanco dropped a bunt right here?
I'm open to bunts. Like sometimes I always question why the Mariners don't bunt that much, because I think they do have the personnel to play that kind of style, to at least just move anyone. Look at and flick of the switch says, let's bunt. Let's just move the guys, because last thing we need is a double play. Like if Ty France was up to bat, I'd be like, no, please bunt. Like we'd be begging them to bunt.
Well, I understand where we play in an era that you don't see a lot of bunts because obviously it generates out, so you just don't see them a lot. But that being said, with a guy like Polanco, who right now, I don't know how you feel about him right now, but he's not really doing much at the plate. He's kind of struggling a little bit. But in a situation where you have a guy like Haniger and Garver hitting right behind him, the percentages of it being able to drive in a run at this point goes a little higher. It would make a lot of sense right now,
especially with Polanco with his 143 average, and Peralta is getting up there in 75 pitches. So the Mariners have been at least
good count,
making the count. And here's the 1-0, and that is a 2-0 pitch.
Good count right now.
Polanco's got everything in his favor right now. And now we're looking at the 2-0 pitch. And now here's the pitch. And here is a fly ball. That's going to be popped up, and that's not going to go anywhere.
Pops straight up, and it's,
makes the catch. And now here's Haniger. He has a golden opportunity to make something happen. And that it proves that had he just bunted, he could have gotten two runners at third base, or two runners at third base, second and third.
Now, granted, you're sacrificing the out, but now you have a runner on second and third, and any ball to the outfield sacrifice is going to score JP at this point.
Exactly. We're looking at 77 pitches for Mitch Haniger, who is batting cleanup.
Let's go, Mitchell.
This is an opportunity, but he's 0 for 2 with a pop out and a fly out. But can Mitch Haniger?
And the last his last at bat, he put good bat to the ball and actually drove it deep into center field. Good contact last at bat. So
here's the pitch, and that is a ball. That is inside. But we would like to see Mitch drive in something.
Nope, didn't go.
And his exit velo was a 99, hence why, it's a good point that he did actually have a good hit on that. Yeah, just didn't leave the ballpark.
Yep, made good solid contact. And in this situation,
and he didn't go.
In this situation, you don't need a 3-run home run. What you basically need is a base hit, scores a run. You also move runner to third base. So take exactly what the pitcher is willing to give you. You don't need to be a hero here and try to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
And now we're looking at the 2-0 pitch on the way. And now here's a ground ball foul.
Yep.
Now we're going to try that again. And the Blue Jays off of Yusei Kikuchi, I believe he had 7 strikeouts, blanked the Yankees 3-0. Good outing for him.
Oh, former Mariner.
Former Mariner, former All-Star too. And the Rangers are they're just battering the Astros. And Astros are off to an awful start. And now here's a 2-1 pitch to Haniger. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Dr. Afro Dog, what's up yourself?
Ooh, there you go. There you go. There you go, Mitchell.
He's obviously a few seconds ahead of me. He couldn't hold the excitement considering how the Mariners do with their offense. So, and flick of the switch couldn't hold it either. Here's the 2-2. Now here's a ground ball. That gets right through for a base hit. Manny Acta is driving him home. And the throw to the plate. And that is not in time. Not even at the plate. And the Mariners get on the board with a single by Mitch Haniger.
He gets the cutter on the inside part of the plate, and he does the he does the right thing.
And looks like
gets a base hit to left field.
And looks like the manager has seen enough out of Peralta. He did pitch pretty well, but he did pitch 82 pitches in the 6th inning, so the Mariners did at least tax him a bit. And I really do think that could be it for him. And is that it for him?
No, I don't think so. I think they're sticking with Peralta here.
I think, looks like so. Looks like, depending who's up.
It'll be Cal Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh. He's been been having a bad start.
Now this would be a very opportune time to hit a 3-run home run. This almost
it's Mitch Garver.
Mitch Garver's Raleigh's on deck. My bad. I apologize.
No, it's all good. But good hit by Mitch Haniger as they're showing the replay. If
that's right,
Mitch Garver can just blast something or just put anywhere in the gap, it would be very helpful.
First at bat, he hit the double.
He did. He had something going. He's 1 for 1 with a double. Hit by the pitch, he was. And now Julio, you can get him to score with his feet if it goes in the gap. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a line drive, and that's foul. That could have made it a tie game right there. Because at least Mitch has a hustling feet. If he had Teo at first base, probably not.
And see, this is the thing where, even if you don't get the big inning, the ability to actually get some momentum, take that run and build off of it. These are the little things that we were talking about earlier in the game.
And we're looking at a 1-1 count so far. That goes right inside. 84 pitches for Peralta. He's getting up there. And I do believe that this may be his final inning.
I would probably agree with that, yeah.
And now here's the 1-1. And that is in there for a strike. It was right in the outside. I mean, probably would have swung at that one. But 85 pitches for Peralta. His fastball has gone down.
Correct.
1-2. And now here's the pitch. And that gets away, and that should get Julio to third base. And will Julio turn around? No, he will not. Nope. He will not pull the Kenny Lofton. 95.
Yep, not enough time, not enough space in order to sneak around.
Because when that happened with Kenny Lofton, it was like right all the way to the dugout. And Dan Wilson wasn't even paying attention.
But now you're 2-2, 2 runners in scoring position right here. This is a very good opportunity. There you go.
Let's make it happen. Mariners are 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Mitch Garver has the opportunity. It's a 2-2. He is 1 for 1. Now here's the 2-2 pitch. And now here is a line drive, and that is going to be caught, but tagging at third is Julio Rodriguez, and he is going to score, and the Mariners bring it to within 1.
And here you go, doing the little things right. Taking advantage of the mistakes the Brewers are going to give you. Peralta, sends one to the dirt, moves Julio up 90 feet, and there you go. Mitch Garver, nice little sacrifice fly right there.
That was a great contact too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go,
Can't
Cal.
go wrong with that. I mean, I remember when I won a game with a sacrifice fly.
Oh, nice.
Oh, looks like someone's already said something. And now Cal Raleigh. And now here's the pitch. And here's a fly ball to deep right field, and that will drop in, and that's going to be a tie game, 3-3. And Cal Raleigh steps up and ties the game.
There you go. Cal steps into
like
a fat.
That.
Yep.
Mariners have tied it, and it just seemed that before this inning, it seemed that all could have been lost. But then next thing you know, it's 3-3, and Cal Raleigh with a beautiful hit, just right on the first pitch.
Yep. Fastball right up in the zone, and he takes advantage. And that looks like that will be it for Peralta.
That's got to be it. I
Yeah,
actually I think we talked about it. Like, I thought they were pulling him out before Garver.
Yeah.
And now it looks like that would have been the right decision. But hey, baseball is baseball, just like debates back then when Grady Little did not pull Pedro Martinez. And then there was that whole, well, the bullpen could have messed up and they were, I don't know. That's how it
you know
feels.
what? Yeah. And by the way, Grady should have pulled Pedro in that situation. But I'll just say this, right? That was a good piece of hitting for Cal Raleigh. And we saw the Brewers taking advantage of Logan Gilbert with early fastballs, driving him out for the 2 home runs. And then right here, Cal Raleigh doing the exact same thing. And these are the things that you want to see. These are the encouraging signs that you and I were talking about before the game. The little things that this lineup needs to do in order to create a little continuity, create a little bit of momentum. And sure enough, 1 run now obviously turns into 3, and so now this game is a 0-0 tie again. This is exactly what you want to see in these situations, taking advantage of everything your opponent's willing to give you.
Exactly. So far, it's 3-3, and some would like to say that Logan Gilbert has actually outpitched Peralta. Peralta just happened to, be in the situation where strikeouts was actually an easy thing to pick up, at least until the 6th inning. I mean, if you erase one bad pitch, it's a 3-2 game.
Yep.
And they're showing the Dairy Queen commercial, and at least not until it's summertime.
Ooh.
I'll hold off.
Ooh.
But those baseball blizzards, those are never disappointing.
Let me are you a Blizzard guy?
I'm 100% Blizzard guy.
Oh, see, I'm a peanut butter parfait guy, but you can't go wrong with the soft serve. Dairy Queen is one of those things that just never gets old.
It never does. Like McDonald's, for example, that aged like years ago. McDonald's has aged like fine milk. And now here is
they age like vinegar.
Pretty much. And here's Dylan Moore. I think he's taking over for Luke Raley. They're going with the matchup, and here's the pitch, and that is a strike. I'm kind of questioning that, because I would have rather have Dylan Moore take over for Dom Canzone rather than Luke Raley.
See, the thing about this is Luke Raley actually hits lefties, at a decent clip. And I understand what Service is doing in this situation, trying to play the matchups. But at this stage of the game, it's far too early. And you actually kind of want to see what Raley is capable of doing. Yeah, is capable of doing versus left-handers in this situation.
I'm going to have
to
these
are the little things that actually drive me absolutely bananas about Scott Service.
It's the way he makes those decisions, especially with the bullpen, where there's a time where a bullpen pitcher gets one guy out and he goes, "Oh, nope, you're out. Bye." Yeah, right. And then the next guy just gives up everything. And we're looking at a 1-1 for Dylan Moore. And you would hope that this is not the 2023 Dylan Moore that we're getting, because last season, not to his fault, he was not like himself because of that injury that may have played a role. And looks like they're revealing something.
It looked like it.
May have hit him.
But that ball was spiked in the dirt first.
Unless the umpires don't notice, then they just give it to him, which I'll take.
No, for sure. At Dylan Moore at his best, you're talking 2021, 2022, Dylan Moore, who was absolutely effective versus left-handed pitching. And I think I tend to agree with you. He was kind of dealing with this injury last year that pretty much plagued him all season.
The injury arguably hurt the team as a whole throughout the entire season, especially the start, because there were critical games where Dylan Moore could have been used in those situations, but instead you had Tommy La Stella and Cooper Hummel.
Solid.
Pretty much very solid.
Tommy LaStella.
It's like, no, let's just bring back Kyle Lewis. Let's just reverse that trade. At least Kyle Lewis knows the team, but now he's a free agent. It's pretty tragic how his career turned out. And I go back to his time. I go back to his time when in Everett, when he was just burning it up. Next thing you know, he tears his ACL. And I remember I was planning to go to an Everett game to watch Kyle Lewis, and then the injury happens. And I go, okay, never mind.
I wouldn't have a problem if the Mariners brought back Kyle Lewis as AAA depth.
Yeah, why not at this point?
You don't lose anything if he doesn't perform. It's not like you can't get off of that contract. It's gonna, he's not going to be making anything. And at the very least, he actually regains some of his form.
Oh, and looks like Dylan Moore is going to first base. Looks like they say he got hit by the pitch, but Dom Canzone is up. Yep. Or no, it's a pinch. No, Samad Taylor.
It looks like it's Samad Taylor. And now the Brewers are. Looks like the Brewers might be going out there to make a pitching change.
And let's take a look and see. No, they will go right after him. They'll go with the righty-lefty matchup. 31 games with Kansas City last season, 200 average. I mean, he didn't play that much, and he was acquired by Kansas City through trade, or it could have been a waiver thing.
Now, in this situation, if he gets a fastball that's anywhere near, anywhere near the heart of the plate, I don't care if it's 0-0, swing. Try to put good contact on the ball. Be a little aggressive in this situation.
Especially with 2 outs.
Well, exactly. And plus you got the favorable matchup. So if you're going to get something that's up and out over the, don't sit there and take it for a strike. Be aggressive here.
And some may say that maybe he should have been called up, but there just wasn't any room for him, unfortunately. But if you're Dom Canzone, you should really be a little concerned for your security, because you haven't been proving anything except with that 1 home run. Samad Taylor made starts in left field and second base, so assuming he's going to be at left field after this inning.
You would think that
now here's the pitch, and that is a ball, so you didn't have to swing at that.
You would think Samad fits a lot better on this roster just defensively. And as we've seen through the first 7 games of the season, that defense is going to play a huge role.
Really will. And now we're looking at the 1-0 pitch. Now here's a swing and a miss, throw back to first, and that is not in time. Samad's now looking at a 1-1 who did play decent in spring training.
Oh,
that doesn't sound good.
Come on, Samad.
And now here is the 1-1 pitch, and a fly ball and foul, way foul. Now he's down to 2 strikes. Ringo, you never heard of Samad Taylor? Where were you in spring training?
He came over from the Kansas City Royals.
He really did. Who the Mariners swept at home last time. Here's the 1-2. And now here's a ground ball right to the first baseman, but that'll be out. But you got to appreciate the hustle that Samad Taylor at least showed. There at least maybe could have been a chance on any other situation. But we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is now a tie game. And after all that calling, I need another breather. 20-something seconds. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal. And you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Oh, looks like Mr. 54% is going to the bathroom. You know what? I might as well just go myself. Please enjoy the view of the Julio bobblehead.
All righty. And we're back. So, a fantastic top of the half for the Mariners right there. Now you're in a situation where, Logan doesn't feel like he has to be pinpoint perfect. He can actually, start attacking some of these hitters a little bit more aggressively. Beautiful top half there for the Mariners.
And now we are back from the break, and we got the weenies running. That's what the Brewers do, which they've been doing for years. It's the weenie race. I'd love to perform in that suit and see if I can win that.
Let's go bratwurst.
And now here's the pitch, and that is in there for a strike. And noticeably, you see that fastball just dipping just a little bit at 94 miles an hour, not the one we're used to with 97s.
Yeah, 96, 97, yeah, so.
And now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And now our friend Phil goes, what's good? I turned in earlier down 0-3, then watched the final 4, then came back. Go watch the final 4 if it's still playing. And now here's the 1-1.
Who's in this year's final 4?
We got the Iowa was in the final 4. They made it to the finals, and that's the most notable team right now. And Caitlin Clark is the hero right now.
Oh yeah, she's such an assassin.
She is. Now here's the 2-1 and a foul ball. And now Summer wondering if she could be the one to save the WNBA. Who knows?
Well, if you put it in perspective, she is going to break Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time, I think,
college record.
College record for points scored, and she did it in a shorter period.
And Kelsey Plum was going for that record too.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was the most enjoyable college run I ever watched. Was the UW 2016 run with the final, that bizarre Final 4 run they had.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And Flick said that's a fact. Only the NBA said, yep, because of their subsidies every single year.
Yep.
And now here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball. Funny fact is, Ice Cube did offer $5 million for Caitlin Clark to play in his league.
Oh yeah, and some of those other WNBA players are very salty over it because obviously they're not the ones getting the.
They're not the ones, and the hot take on this: the more they continue to do that, the more they sabotage themselves and the league.
Correct.
And now here is the 1-1, and a fly ball to deep right field, and that is gone. Like, I was just so shocked that I announced it that way.
Yep,
and
Christian
now
Yelich.
Christian Yelich takes the lead with a home run.
And you were talking about the downtick in velocity on the fastball at the top of this bottom half right here, and of course pitch placement. Again, it was again the same roughly the same pitch that the guy who hit it out for the second home run.
That was just absolutely blasted.
Yeah, same pitch placement.
And now here's the pitch by Logan, and that is low for a ball. And the Mariners, they really got to find a way to win this game because after this, you're going to have Bryce Miller and Emerson Hancock on the mound.
Still two guys that are going to give you an opportunity to win.
And now that is a swing and a miss, strike one.
Yeah,
Bryce Miller had that difficult game.
Adams was trying to add right there with a tomahawk swing right there. He was swinging for the fences.
Isn't there a saying that the harder you try to swing, the less likely you're going to hit it out?
That's 100% correct. 100%.
You just got to let it happen, but it's the emotion that gets in the way. And now here's the 1-1. And there's a ground ball, and that's foul. And, yep, I guess that's on you, buddy. Yep, come back. Go watch some NBA or something. I don't know.
Oh, is he calling you a jinx?
He called himself the jinx.
Oh, he called himself the jinx. I gotcha. I know how he feels.
The 1-2 pitch, and that is inside for a ball. But in actuality, the Mariners starters, as good as they are, they do struggle on keeping the home runs down.
Well, this,
Now-
and this shouldn't be a surprise because, Logan, especially, last year, as good as he was susceptible to the long ball, but never really three home runs in a single game. But so this might be a little out of character.
It feels uncharacteristic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
But
here's
yeah, no,
the 2-2 pitch. Foul ball.
Yeah, that pitch to Yelich. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better pitch if you're sitting there in that situation at the plate. I mean, he served it literally right at a little up, but right out over the plate.
If it was 2021 Yelich, he would have gotten away with it. Now here's the 2-2. Foul ball.
Foul ball. Yeah. He's a good hitter.
Yeah, Yelich has all the talent in the world. And now I think it goes back to the season's back. Was he just injured, or like it was just bizarre when I looked at his numbers of how it just took a huge dip after 2020. Here's the 2-2, and that is outside for ball 3. Willie Adams is looking at a full count. And now here's the 3-2 pitch. And that is low for ball 4. And Logan Gilbert's feeling that frustration. And you would think that I would wonder if this is time to get the bullpen, because he seems to be losing it just a little bit. And looking at Yelich's numbers, in 2019, he hit 44 home runs. 2020, 12 home runs in 58 games. And then in 21, he just fell. 9 home runs in 2021, 14 in 22, and then 23 was when he kind of had that breakout-ish season. Yeah. And it looks like they're not going to pull him out.
You would think, you would think that, especially after the Yelich home run, you would probably think that Service would at least get somebody up and warming up. It
looks like Bolton is just starting to warm up just by that throwing motion. Ringo says, easy sign, Trevor Bauer. I am not opposed to that.
100%.
Like, I did all the research on all the stuff I really shouldn't be talking about, and I'm like, yeah, let's sign him. There's nothing on him. I mean, yeah, he has a weird personality, but take the personality away, he's easily one of your best starters.
I understand why Mariner fans don't want him, because obviously Seattle is a very touchy-feely, progressive type of town. So, a lot of that plays into it, but you have a guy who's still in his prime. He's a Cy Young Award winner, and he's willing to take the league minimum with escalators. So it's not gonna cost the Mariners much of anything.
The only thing that's going to cost is just going to have a bunch of angry Mariner tweeters. that's the only cost, which I'm okay with. Oh, one.
Well, I'm okay with that, but it's also because of what Trevor Bauer went through. I would probably assume that he's probably going to be a positive clubhouse guy, as opposed to what his reputation was prior. But that being said, if you're serious about winning a championship, you actually kick the tires on a guy like Trevor Bauer.
I mean, I was begging the Mariners to sign him last year, but they just won't do it because there's that whole clubhouse fit, and that's Seattle. I mean, it took me years to finally realize that. Hold on, and we got a 2-1. The throw to first, and it's not in time. I've learned how easy it is to upset Mariner fans. Like, at this point, sometimes if you breathe wrong, they get mad at you.
Yeah, but let me ask you, do you really care though? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you got to keep it pushing to a point where you can't necessarily worry about how other people are going to feel, especially if you actually deliver the God's honest truth about things. You just have to, put it out there and just let it happen. Absolutely.
Oliver Dunn, 3-1. I mean, if I really did care, this channel would have been dead.
You're right. I think it's, you understand that not everybody's going to like you, and that's perfectly fine. But I mean, if you're consistent in the messages that you put out, especially about this team, I don't see what the big problem is.
It's all about the truth. And now we're looking at a 3-2.
Word.
I mean, that's what I said. That separates myself from everyone else. Is I'm not afraid to say, it's like, hey, this happened. This is what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I guess that would be. I mean, if you pay attention to my Twitter feed, I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Now here's a ground ball right to Dylan Moore, and that's out. We got 2 outs so far. And Logan Gilbert, considering how much that he gave up that home run to Yelich, he is still holding it down. And considering his fastball went down to 94.
And it looks like Service is going to go out now and pick up Logan.
Oh boy, this is usually my most terrifying scene is when I see Scott Service walking out, pointing the finger out. It's like, uh-oh. Yeah. And looks like we've got, I think it's Bolton. He's going to be coming out.
Cody Bolton.
I wonder if the guy is it's still going to be a righty. He's still a righty, so I don't think there's going to be there's not much of a matchup factor, but it's probably just that Logan's just tired and just done.
Cody Bolton, huh?
I mean, considering how banged up the bullpen is, and I feel like I'm going to jinx it, the bullpen has actually not been the problem at all, considering that we don't have Brash and Santos. And that's just
you're right. They're holding the fort quite well.
And it's like, and even the times where the bullpen did give up runs, it was kind of like, well, the game was pretty much lost anyway.
What I'm looking forward to is that 4-headed monster once Brash and Santos come back and they pair him with Munoz and Stanek. From the 6th inning on, that thing is going to be absolutely lights out. That's what's kind of getting me fired up, thinking about how Service is going to use those 4 in particular 1-run games. It's going to be lights out.
Just as long as he does it right, because I mean, we all agree that the talent on this team is, like, honestly, I think Lou Piniella would have killed an umpire to have this kind of team. Because he would have had everything. He would have at least a talented offense, a starting pitching that he didn't even have other than Randy Johnson, and the bullpen, because his bullpen
if you had Lou Piniella's staff, Lou Piniella in his Mariners prime, so you're talking 94 to 2002 with his staff, with this team,
it's a World Series contender easily.
It's a World Series contender. I agree.
But hey, I mean, Scott,
Lou. The thing about Lou is he knew how to push all the right buttons.
He really did, and especially what he had to work with. And here's Cody Bolton. He's now looking at a 1-0.
Yeah. Well, he had 4 first ballot Hall of Famers all playing together in their prime. At one stretch. I mean, when you think about the fact that he had Randy, he had Edgar, he had Junior, and he had A-Rod.
And he had David Ortiz just for craps and giggles at one point.
Well, yeah, but I think he was still in the Mariner minor league.
Very much. He was in Wisconsin when they were like an A team something.
Right, yeah, they were the Wisconsin Timberlanders. I think he went by the name of David Arias.
It was David Arias. Here's a 2-0, and that's a strike. And he was off of the Dave Hollins trade. And the only reason why, if you're a Mariners fan that knows who Dave Hollins is, chances are you got to love these guys to the point that your VHS got on wear and tear. Now we're looking at a 2-1, and it's a throw to first. Oh, we got a pickoff. And Rojas goes to, and this is just a pickoff thing, and he's out. I think he is. Yep, and now retire the side. Good heads-up play by the Mariners, and we go to the end of the 6th. Unfortunately, the home run given up by Christian Yelich.
Well, I actually had a conversation. This was about a year ago with somebody that was trying to take pot shots at the Mariners because they traded, David Ortiz away. And I'm like, I have to remind folks, it's like, in that era when they traded away Jose Cruz Jr. and a guy like David Ortiz before he became what he became. The Mariners were just trying to shore up their roster to try to make another playoff run, because in that time frame, they had 2 division wins in that era, and they were trying to push for a third. And so, at one point that became a need where to them he was just a single A guy. So in order to
and he was actually, his actual original name in that trade was called Player to be Named Later, just like how just like what Crash Davis said, and that's what David Ortiz probably said. Who are you? I'm the player to be named later.
Yeah, I'm the player. I'm the player to be named later. Yep,
fantastic movie.
By the way, man, good Crash Davis pull.
Yeah, I love that movie. Like, it took me until
Oh, yeah.
2020 to watch it, but now I have my regrets not watching it when I was younger.
I'll tell you what, that it's one of those movies that still stands the test of time, because I mean, if you're really a diehard baseball fan, it hits every single note. You know what I mean? It's one of those great movies that it doesn't matter, the era of which you're in. It's still perfect.
I also like those movies where it doesn't end with just someone winning a championship, because we've seen
Right.
that only so many times. It's sometimes just as fun just seeing someone get called up because of what Crash Davis did.
Yeah. Call me
And
Nuke.
The Nuke, that's right, the big arm. Yeah. Why are you shaking me off? I want to throw the heat, but this guy's a first ball fastball hitter. And then he's like, okay, give him the heat. Oh, by the way, he's hitting a fastball.
You got talent, kid. I got what? You got talent. The gods opened up and came down and turned your right arm into a lightning bolt.
And now we got Luis Urias, and he takes it for a ball. And
former Brewer.
He is the former Brewer, and that's where he had his good year in 21. Hopefully he can pick it up this time. Now here's the 1-0, and that he takes it for a strike. Urias is trying to get something going. Anything, at least get on base would be nice.
I like Luis Urias, and I actually think that considering what he went through last year with the injuries that never really saw him get on track, the ability to at least get a couple months worth of at-bats under his belt, I actually think we're going to start to see Luis Urias, be that nice little slap contact hitter.
We can only hope, because it's something that we absolutely need, at least in this game. And now here's the 1-2, and he takes it for a ball. Looked like he had a little check swing, but didn't even get anywhere near. And it also went in this outside the strike zone. 10 pitches in for Hudson. He kind of got out of that jam a little bit. And now here's the 2-2, and that is a 3-2 pitch. Urias right, 21 with 23 home runs and 75 RBIs with a 789 OPS. And now we're looking at a 3-2.
Let's see if he can, take one and get on base here.
Let's do it. And here's a 3-2, and now it's a fly ball. I mean, I did like the attempt of the contact. I mean, you could have argued that could have been a strike, but who knows?
No.
Urias is flashing in that huge cross necklace he's got. We're looking at a 3-2 full count. And now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that's going to be a down.
You got the fastball, but, I think his eyes were a little bit bigger than what he anticipated, because that ball was literally a foot off the plate.
You got fooled. It was a fastball, too.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's go, JP.
He got all jittery. And now here's JP Crawford, who started that spark last inning. And now here's the pitch. And that was right in there for a strike. JP Crawford's actually having a lot better game than what we're used to this season. He got a single, a walk, and a run. So he has heavily contributed to this team.
Yeah. You know what JP is capable of. And regardless of what happened in the opening homestand, JP is going to have these type of games where you're going to see him get on base at least twice.
And then we're looking at a 1-1 pitch. He's batting 143. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a ground ball right to the shortstop. The throw to first, and it's in time. That couldn't be any more routine. And Fizzy Fox says, we got to sing in the 7th inning. And yep, ever since the start of the season, someone sings the 7th inning stretch, which I will do that.
I'll join you.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be helpful. And then I got Julio Rodriguez. He is up to bat, batting second in the order.
Did you just overpronounce the Julio?
Julio Rodriguez.
Julio. A little.
Here's the pitch, and that's a ball. A home run here would be nice. I mean, with 2 outs, I wouldn't be opposed to him trying to go for one. Usually I don't say that often.
Not at all.
Now here's the pitch, and that is a strike. I mean, I played softball. Like when there's 2 outs with nobody on, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to hit.
But the thing that I'm worried about is Julio trying to do too much because the Mariners are in a situation where they're down
1-1
one,
and
and he's
foul.
going to want to try to kill this baseball when really a double would suffice. You know what I mean?
Double would do more than enough. Now we're looking at the 2-2 or 1-2 for Julio Rodriguez. And now here's the pitch. Oh, he looked like he was going to swing at that, but he didn't do it. It's going to be a 2-2. Every time he even moves his body on that, he's like, no, don't do it. We're looking at a 2-2 for Hudson and Julio Rodriguez. Can he make something happen? Here's a 2-2. And here's a ground ball. He's got to really run for it. And the throw to first in time. And that's going to retire the side. And at least Julio was hustling for it. But we go to the bottom of the seventh. And everyone, time to get up. It is the seventh inning stretch. We will sing in about 3, 2, 1. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I ever get back, so let's
root. Root for the Mariners.
If they don't win, it's a shame.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball
game. That was
by the way,
better.
do you have Louie Louie?
I would, yeah. I mean, you know what? If I'll do Louie Louie, even though I'm gonna get copyrighted, but oh no, I'm gonna lose 10 cents.
Oh well, don't do it. Yeah, don't do anything to take away your money.
All right, let's do this. All right, Louie Louie. Oh no, we gotta go now.
We gotta go.
Yeah. I missed that song.
Yeah, I mean that was a seventh inning staple right there. I mean Louie, I remember being in the Kingdom in the late '80s, and Louie Louie was playing right after the seventh inning stretch, and I think it was just last year where they replaced it with a Macklemore. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Like that was like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, well, it's the Mariners.
Yeah, what else have they done where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Oh, when the Mariners, when they're announcing their starting lineup, they got rid of their main theme that everyone loves.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Yeah, like when it's been gone since like 2012. Here's Rhys Hoskins. Here's the pitch, and that is a ball, 1-1.
Cody Bolton, huh?
Cody Bolton's working on a 1-1. He's actually been pitching pretty decent. Now here's the pitch, and that is a strike. 4 hits through 7 innings. It's just Groundhog Day that they're saying. Looks like we got a 10 out of 10 on our 7th inning stretch.
Oh, there you go. Hey, thanks, man.
And now here's the pitch. Oh, and it gets to the pitcher, the throw to first, and it's in time. Good pitch, getting Rhys Hoskins out in front of that ball. And it was, of course, driven right in the dirt. Good play by Cody Bolton. Good start to the inning for the Mariners. Yeah, of course. Get the first out. Let's get out of this fast, so at least the heart of the lineup can do something. It would be Polanco, Mitch, and Mitch. Here's the pitch. And that is a strike. In Tacoma, 4-0 lead for the Tacoma against Salt Lake. Curious how Marlowe was doing. And now here's the 0-1. And a swing and a miss. And that guy swung out of random. It felt like a really random swing just looking at it. And now we're looking at an 0-2 count. And now here's the pitch. And now right back to Bolton. And the toss to first, and it's in time. That's 2 plays in a row for him. And I've been hit by those things. Even in softball, it hurts. And that was good reflexes too.
Oh, absolutely.
I play on Mondays. It's a lot of fun. I play in
I haven't
Tacoma.
played softball in years. And by the way, the Rainiers are leading 4-0, 4 runs on 5 hits. Looks like Swaggerty's got a base hit. Vosler, he's 1 for 2, 2 RBI. Papierski is 3 for 2 with a BI. And it doesn't. Cade Marlowe right now 0 for 3.
We need Cade Marlowe to get something going in case he needs to have the opportunity. And now we're looking at a 1-1. Here's the pitch. And that is a strike. Knock on wood, Bolton has been pitching very well this inning. Would like to see him maybe get one more inning after this.
For if you're wondering, Levi Strout's on the hill for the Rainiers. He's through 5, no runs, only given up 1 hit, 6 Ks, 1 walk. So good on Levi Strout.
Levi Strout, has he pitched for the Mariners yet? I don't think he has. I haven't heard him. We're looking at a 2-2. He had a double in his first time up. And then he got out. We're looking at the 2-2. And here's the 2-2. And that is just outside for a ball. Joey Ortiz. Bolton's at 15 pitches. For the most part, it's been pitching pretty good. Hopefully I don't jinx it. We're looking at a full count, though, for Joey Ortiz. Wonder what he'll do on this one. Now, here's the pitch. And that is low for ball 4. I think he just lost him on that strike zone. And that was a 95.
Levi Strout did make his major league debut, but it was with the Cincinnati Reds. So he has yet to debut for your Seattle Mariners.
Wasn't he part of the Luis Castillo trade?
Yes, he was.
That's right. And then we brought him back.
Yes, we did.
Here's the pitch.
Good AAA depth.
Very, very much. And it's pretty unfortunate on the other side where not Ketel Marte, it's Noevi Marte. He is now suspended because of PEDs.
Yep.
Bryce Turong, and now here's the pitch. Now here's that's a foul ball. It looks like there was going to be a stolen base thing happening, but thankfully it got stopped by a foul ball. So I guess you got to watch out for him.
Even if he swipes it back here, the out's at the plate.
Exactly.
You don't really want to worry about the base runner right there.
Let's see if we can finish this. Here's the 1-1. And here's a line drive, and that is caught by Samad Taylor. Good catch, and that will retire the side. You were saying?
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of curious how you feel about I wouldn't call it competition, but what if Emerson Hancock has 3 starts, 3-4 starts, and he's very brilliant in those starts. We're talking, go 6 innings, keeps the team in every single game, 3 runs or less. Coming into that situation, do you think you would be comfortable with Hancock moving forward, and maybe having Brian Wu down in Tacoma for a little bit?
I mean, I had a really crazy thought. I was thinking, like, what if any of those 3 guys can maybe be willing to go to the bullpen, because considering that Brian Wu does have injury problems, which he's already shown, and he already had injury red flags for the draft, which is why he fell a lot. So, I mean, I hope we get into that problem, but Hancock, the thing that sticks out to me with Hancock was his performance in the minor leagues, where it was why he was called up later than expected, because he was a first-round pick. Right. So it's still early to say, but if it does happen, I can't really tell.
I always believe that, especially in baseball, that performance dictates your roster spot. And if you're consistently going out there and performing at a high level, and if Emerson goes out there and does what we know that he's capable of doing, what does that mean for a guy like Brian Wu? Like I've never, it doesn't matter what sport. I always believe that injury doesn't necessarily dictate your roster spot, especially if a guy comes up and performs, that roster spot is gone. You know what I mean? Is this going to be a situation where regardless of whatever happens, what Hancock does, it's going to be Brian Wu's spot?
Who knows? I mean, only time will tell, but it'll be a question if can Emerson Hancock handle this heavily offensive loaded team in the Brewers.
I'm a Hancock guy.
Oh, they're showing the bobblehead, and I think there's that bobblehead with a teal jersey. I think that's the one where Griffey robbed Albert Bell of the home run in '96. Now here's Elvis Peguero. Here's pitching against Polanco, and that is a ball. Albert Bell was one interesting character.
That dude was a killer. Do you remember the iconic Albert Bell where he lifts up his bicep and points to it? Because I think it was the Orioles where their manager accused him of corking a bat, and then like literally the next pitch he hits one out, and then he's doing this.
He's doing that. Oh, those are the personalities that I miss. And now here's a 2-0. That's a strike. And I feel fortunate that I was at least born in '92 to at least get to know any of those personalities when they were at least playing.
Oh, you're such a youngin', man. Those mid '90s Cleveland Indians teams were so amazing.
Yeah, it was Kenny Lofton at center. He had a young Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome.
Yeah,
Jim Thome, in his prime. Oral Hershiser.
Yep, the Bulldog. What was it? And
Charles
the '97. Yep, Charlie Nagy. The
Base
97, hit. Yep. The '97 team had Matt Williams on it. Oh man,
Marquise Grissom,
Yep. David Justice was a part of those
Sandy
teams.
Alomar Jr.
His brother Robbie Alomar came over
in '99. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Now we got Mitch Haniger, and he has an opportunity to make something happen. Good to see Polanco get a base hit because he really needed to pick it up.
Oh, absolutely. It's the little victories that that can swing around. Can swing your season into full gear.
Inside for a ball as Peguero is pitching. He's got that nice shiny glove. Come on, Mitch. Make something happen. Do it for Logan. Do it for this team.
Do it for me. I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan, Mitch.
And now here's the 1-0. And that is low for a ball. 2-0. He's now ahead of the count. Ringo thinks we win this game 5-4. I'm holding you to that. If they don't win, you're the jinxta. Just like my other friend. It's giving me a hard time.
Yeah, there's certain guys through the through the years that really stick out. I mean, obviously, when I was younger, Junior was that guy.
2-0. And that is popped up, and I think that's unfortunately playable. And now back to your Griffey story.
Yeah, no, what I was saying is, like, obviously back in the heyday, Junior was the guy. And then, Ichiro was for a couple of years. Brett Boone was a big guy of mine as well, too. And then of course you had Felix for a couple of years, but then, Kyle, when Kyle started coming around, he became that guy. And then, then Mitch, slowly kind of bled in there. And, I'm a big Mitch Haniger guy.
Such a great dude. It's a great teammate to have. Now here's Mitch Garver, who also has an opportunity to make something happen. And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. He is 1-for-1, though, so he's having a pretty good game. And if you really care about hockey, the Kraken have just squared off against the Ducks, a.k.a. they were also known as the Mighty Ducks when they were owned by Disney. And now here's the 0-1, and that is a strike.
I was a big fan. I was a big fan when Gordon Bombay was their head coach. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, triple deke.
I mean, I have 0 on the NHL, unfortunately. Like, absolutely 100% 0. And now here's the 0-2 pitch from Mitch Garver. I mean, my only relationship I had with hockey was the Thunderbirds. I used to go to the Thunderbirds games a lot.
I did too. Yeah.
They were really fun. Like, it has like that nice intimate hockey feeling.
Yeah, no, I've seen a match there at the show where it's a nice little facility for junior hockey. It's a cool little building.
I love it. I actually enjoy it. And I've been to the Everett one, but I would still choose Showware. And now we're looking at, for Cal Raleigh, here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And unfortunately, we're down to 2 outs already.
Yeah.
I mean, Polanco gets a base hit, you blink an eye, and it's 2 outs.
It was unfortunate because Mitch actually got the fastball at the top half of the zone. Of course, he pops it back and into foul territory, but it was playable. And then Garver, he
just
he chases sliders, so it's unfortunate.
Here's Ringo. It goes, everyone likes Mitch, but Mariner fans are too sentimental. Nearly not as good as a hitter as Teo. I mean,
hey Ringo, you are high. I don't know what you're smoking right now, but you are absolutely high.
0-2, and that's a ball.
Consistency from top to bottom. Mitch Haniger is a far better hitter.
I'll take Mitch's defense over Teo because I did see some of Teo's boneheaded defense, and I was like, "What are you doing?" kind of defense. And now we've got a 1-2, and now here's the pitch, foul ball.
It's like Teoscar Hernandez was fantastic in Toronto, but two things to consider: he was playing at the Sky Dome, and he also had Bichette and Vlad Jr. hitting in front of him and back of him. So of course, of course Teo is going to take advantage of that, and of course he goes to LA and he's playing in that stacked lineup in a hitter friendly park as well too. So I'm not surprised to see that he got off to a good start. But if you're asking me, pound for pound, who's the best hitter in a T-Mobile Park situation? Mitch Haniger has already proven that he can hit at that ballpark and hit consistently there.
And a lot of players that in the Mariners history loves to play at T-Mobile or /Safeco. And now we're looking at the 1-2 pitch, and that is a fly ball. Is that going to go to the foul? Oh, and that was actually a few steps away from a home run. I mean, examples of players that really did make it work at T-Mobile. Nelson Cruz, 2000, Edgar Martinez, who had insane numbers.
A-Rod hit there.
He hit pretty well there too.
Yep. John Allroot hit there. Boone hit there. Adrian Beltre, maybe his power numbers weren't what they were after he left, but he still was able to hit there.
Raul Ibanez.
Raul Ibanez. Kyle Seager.
And here's a ground ball, foul. Oh, thank God that was foul. We really needed that to be foul. So yeah, although there is that saying that T-Mobile is, they say, a pitcher-friendly park, there are players that have made it work. Cano made it work. He had his best numbers in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Who used to rake all the time at T-Mobile? Rafael Palmeiro.
Oh, back in the Texas days.
That dude was a killer.
Oh, he was terrifying to watch. And now we're looking at a 1-2, and here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3.
Yep, got him.
And that will retire the side. Once again, Polanco hits a single. You blink an eye, it's 3 outs.
Yeah.
And if you care about the Mariners game, go ahead.
The unfortunate thing was, Elvis Peguero was hittable. He actually there, especially in that Haniger at bat, there was a couple pitches where, Haniger could have put something in play right there. So it wasn't like he was untouchable there. That's just unfortunate.
And Ringo, let's add on to the Teo thing. It's like, he's like Steve says, he's hitting well in Dodgers, but we can all agree that if he was playing with the Mariners, it would be the same exact situation, unfortunately. Be just like the start of last year.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, Teo was fun to watch, except defense. Defense was torture to watch him. That was like, where's Mitch? Like, I remember... He was also torture to watch swinging the bat, because there was numerous opportunities with runners in scoring position where he would literally just fan. He was not the guy that you really wanted up there with runners in scoring position. And also the worst part of it's Teo, the trade came at the cost of Eric Swanson, who was arguably one of the better bullpen pitchers. And I remember at that time, if we go in hindsight, Mariners could have signed Yoshida, or they could have gotten Cody Bellinger for 1 year if you really wanted to play hindsight.
Right. But you understand, Jerry DePoto's reluctance to sign free agents. I think he's already made that public that free agency is not something that he likes to do. As a matter of fact, I think he even used the term that free agents kill your roster. So the idea that he's gonna go out there and get a high price free agent. I know it's a big thing that Mariner fans like to talk about in the offseason, but realistically, they just don't spend in free agency.
I mean, my feelings on Jerry will always be mixed, but I will always appreciate his ability to build the farm system, something that no GM has done since Woody Woodward. I mean, Woody Woodward actually had something going.
Well, listen, you're right. He has attributes that you like, but the idea of building a complete roster, putting the finishing touches on it, even if it means you take a gamble and you trade for somebody, to bring in that missing piece, it's something that he really hasn't done up to this point. And he's been here for almost a decade now.
He's never and even Robbie Ray at the time wasn't really a final piece of the puzzle move, even though I still think that was and we can all agree that was like an out of nowhere kind of signing.
100%.
Like nobody expected that. And I was like, which Jared Poto is this? And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike.
That was his best offseason. After 2021 going into 2022, that was his best offseason as a Mariner executive. But my biggest problem is that he's been here since 2016, hired late 2015. And we only have one playoff appearance to show for it in damn near a decade. And if this season does not work out, especially after the offseason that he had, where for the first 3 months of the offseason he was taking heat publicly, only to be told that this thing worked out and they got their roster to where they want. And if it doesn't work out, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. I'll just say that.
Now here's a strike, and that is now Christian Yelich. Brewers have 3 solo home runs, so at least 2 of the home runs were oopsie kind of home runs, if not one of them. And
that Yelich home run was crushed.
Yeah, it was there was nothing he could have done. He could have pitched, Logan could have borrowed George Kirby's arm, throw a knuckler, and that's still crushed.
Look at Stanek.
With that beard.
That was a great signing when they brought in Ryan Stanek. I fell in love with that signing. Yep. That was
doing it off of Houston too.
Yep.
And now Houston doesn't have a mid reliever now. Houston's pretty much, that team reminds me exactly like the 97-98 Mariners. That's exactly how they're playing. Pretty good offense, but their bullpen, with the exception of Josh Hader, they've not been off to a good start.
Yeah, but that you would expect Ryan Presley to eventually get into gear, and those two at the back end of that bullpen is going to be crazy. Holy crap, is that going to be crazy?
Willie Adams up the plate. He also has a home run. I believe he was the one that hit the first home run of the game. Now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And aside from that single that Stanek gave up, he's really been after it.
Yep. And that's what I like about Stanek is he's not afraid to attack the strike zone. He's not afraid to pitch to contact, I love that in a reliever.
Now here's the 0-2, and that is out inside for a ball. The fact that Teo hit 256 last season was a miracle. Considering he struck out a lot. I mean, he did make up with some power. And now here's Adams. We're looking at the 1-2, and that's just fouled.
Yeah, I'm judging by my tone. You can probably guess that I wasn't the biggest Teoscar Hernandez fan.
Even when the trade happened at the time, I was like, okay, great, but Swanson's gone. That was my reaction right there. And now here's the 1-2 and a fly ball, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. It's not like Samad Taylor. And here's a throw to second, and that is not in time.
He got back. It looks like he got back in time.
Just barely. But now we got runners on first and second, so now it's getting a little bit.
That was
now
a
you're
good piece of
starting to-
hitting.
It really was. And that was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah. Fastball in on the hands, and he gets out in front of it and just, dinks it into the left field right there. Ugh.
Now I wonder if Cal Raleigh's having a chat. Stanek's only pitched 11 innings. Yes, he got the 2 outs, but he also has 2 men on base, where the Brewers do have an opportunity to make some damage.
Stanek, obviously he's got the 98-mile-an-hour heat, but he also has the split that kind of tails away to lefties right here. It's going to be interesting to see how he attacks him. And of course, this was the coming up right now is the gentleman who hit the second home run. I believe his name is Dunn. Yeah, so he was the one that tagged Logan for the second. There you go, slider right there.
Now here's Stanek. Bottom of the 8th. Now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. 2 strikes away till we go to the bottom of the top of the 9th inning. And I wonder who would be up to bat. Depends who was the last out. I believe it was Cal Raleigh.
It was Cal Raleigh. So you're going to see what
0-1.
See
and that is
Samad Taylor, and you're going to see
Dylan Moore, Samad Taylor, and you release all the pinch hitters. So
yep.
Bottom of the lineup, you better hope that they do anything.
Well, you're gonna find out exactly how that inning is gonna play out, by literally by the by your leadoff hitter. You're wondering down by 1 run how aggressive they're going to be, because you're gonna have to, maybe step out of your comfort zone there to try to get on base.
Oliver Dunn, he is 1 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
It was that home run that got away. Now we're looking at a 1-2. Now here's the pitch, and that is outside 2-2.
In the bullpen right now for the Brewers, JB Buskauskas is up for the Brewers, former Mariner, and I believe Uribe is also up.
I wonder when Buskauskas, it's probably been that long. Maybe it was like a 2019, 2020 feeling. Here's the pitch, and that is low for ball 3, 3-2. We are looking at a full count.
I thought Buskauskas was Jamie Buskauskas was just a couple years ago.
Oliver Dunn 1 for 3 is working on a full count, and here's the pitch, and that is fouled away. Try to get him on the heat. Maybe try to get the heat in the inside corner, maybe. If you really can do that, because at least you can jam him. 17 pitches in for Stanek. He has been having a very up and down inning.
Yeah, it was just last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, JB Buskauskas, yeah.
And now we're looking at the full count. And now here's a ground ball, and that gets on by, and that's going to cause some runs to score. And now Brewers are going to lead 5-3, if not maybe 6-3, off the error by J.P. Crawford.
That's something you don't see a lot. Oh boy.
Not out of J.P. Crawford.
And that's right there. That's your killer right there. You have the out right there to end the inning, and all of a sudden now Brewers get another run, and now all of a sudden all the momentum shifts. A base hit right here, and that's your dagger.
That very much could be. Especially, if I was playing in softball, I feel the same way too, unfortunately, if it was like that kind of situation. And that just had a horrible bounce too.
But for a guy who's won a Gold Glove in his career, it's just out of character.
And Cal Raleigh had was gonna throw, but then nobody was set and ready. Now you're looking at an 0-1,
and now all of a sudden you get a bad break and you lose focus. Unbelievable.
Rhys Hoskins is at least 0 for 3 with a ground out in the 7th.
And right now this isn't the guy you want up at the plate, because if Stanek isn't sharp right here with his slider. Oh, there you go. There you go.
We're looking at an 0-1. Now here's the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to shallow. Should be playable. There's Julio. He makes the catch, and that will retire the side. But the Brewers did get one more score off a bad bounce. That did go past J.P. Crawford. It is now 5-3, and the Mariners are now down to their final inning. But if it does make anyone feel better, I think this is my 6th show this season. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was number 5 for my 6th consecutive show. It has broken 100 views. So I definitely thank you guys for being here, despite how this game has gone, and considering the Mariners have had this quite of a start. So definitely appreciate the engagement, the viewership, and comments as well.
Gotta love the consistency.
Yeah, right now I think I'm 6 for 8 right now. And last year I did 43 games. I am shooting for double that. And at this pace, I would be doing I'm on pace to do like 155, which don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know.
I think you can do it.
Yeah, then I might be able to do more games than the Mariners on TV. Well, how is that possible? Because I need the TV coverage still.
That's awesome. Yeah, this has been fun, man. I was curious about to see how this would play out, but watching the game and calling the game in real time has been absolutely fantastic. This is fun.
It's so much fun, and nobody else on the YouTube Mariners community is doing this. I'm the one that does it, and hopefully
he's the one.
Stays that way. I mean, Mojo, they got their own thing, so whatever they're doing works for them. I heard Couch GM, he's at a bar doing the game himself. And everyone else,
that is
Marine Layered, they're on all peer podcast style.
Yeah, that's we're kind of your traditional podcast where we just once a week. Well, one of the things that what we love doing about the show is we're two old school Mariner fans that really aren't at all afraid to take the Mariners to task. I mean, if you've seen the show, you understand exactly what our shtick is.
Yeah, we're to the point, and we're gonna say what it is. You don't like
that's
it.
Exactly right.
You don't like it. You don't have to be here, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you're talking to a guy that's lived through a few ownership groups in his time. So I mean, there's no excuse the Mariners can throw out that we're not gonna throw it right back in your face.
Yeah. And now it looks like Uribe is going to be the closer. Yep. And Dylan Moore has already taken a strike. And here's the pitch. And that's already strike 2.
Mm-hmm. Going right after Dylan.
And Fizzy Fox, we appreciate it. We do plan to do this more in the future, we hope. And now we're looking at an 0-2 count. And here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul. It looked like it was a nice hit by that angle. But it's going to be
Dylan.
Still strike 2.
Let's go, Dylan.
Dylan Moore last season, 7 home runs and 19 RBIs. He had that one little stretch in Minnesota last season. Did pretty well after the All-Star break. And now here's the 0-2 pitch. And the catcher tried to frame that, and that's now ball 1. Thanks for not falling for it, ump, because there are umpires that fall for it, because Angel Hernandez would have fell for that.
Oh, for sure.
1-2 pitch we're looking at. And now here's the pitch. Oh, and it gets away. If only there was a runner on base, but now we're looking at a 2-2 count.
Yeah, there's some catchers that do a fantastic job of framing pitches, and then there's others that really just embellish it a little too much, where you're kind of like, all right, man, come on, that's a ball. What are you doing?
Now Dylan Moore is looking at a 2-2. Here's the pitch and a ground ball foul. I did like the effort, but that is a foul ball. You still believe need one.
Ooh.
Back to the top.
Yeah, no
Dylan
spoilers.
Moore is at a 1. He's batting 111. We're looking at a 2-2.
Championship.
Now here's the pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that will drop in for a base hit. And Dylan Moore, he gets on first base with a single.
Huge.
That
and
is
now this is huge. And the thing about Uribe is that, and when you saw that sequence of pitching to Dylan Moore, his slider is out. His slider has a tendency to hang out over the plate, and if you're quick, you might be able to do something with that baseball.
And now my Root Sports is down at the moment. Yep, it has to happen right when Dylan Moore gets a hit.
Well, stepping in is Samad Taylor, and of course Taylor is 0 for 1. Coming in as a pinch hitter. And in this situation, with a runner on, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they attack this. I would like to see a hit and run. But the first offering on the way is low, down and low. So ball 1.
And I have fast internet. I wonder what's going on. Maybe all the Mariner fans are tuned in after Dylan Moore got a hit.
Buffering.
It is
yep. So the second offering on the way was in there for a strike. So we have to count now 1-1. Uribe, time is called as Taylor steps out of the box. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious to know where Devin Williams is at what his situation is, because usually Devin Williams is the Brewers closer. But here's the 1-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. Inside fastball that tailed in a little bit. Two-seamer on the inside half of the plate. Taylor had a nice little rip to it, but 2-2 now. This would be a huge at bat here for Taylor.
Really would be.
Ground ball through the middle. Base hit for Samad Taylor as Dylan Moore is digging for third base, and he will be in there. And now the Mariners have runners on the corners with nobody out. And this is this kind of has a nice little feeling to it, because as we saw in the opening series, actually I believe it was game one against Cleveland, where the Mariners came back in extras and finally came to life. All of a sudden now the Mariners have started to show a little bit of a heartbeat right here, and all of a sudden, they got traffic. Here's Luis Urias. And Urias takes high with a fastball, ball 1.
Wonder who's maybe Samad Taylor. If I were him, maybe try to steal second, especially with nobody out. Might as well. What else you got to lose?
And Urias swings right through a fastball, and we're talking, knee high right there on a little bit on the outside corner of the plate, but still in a position where he could have put a charge into that ball, but he swings right through the fastball. Come on, Luis.
Do something, Luis.
Throw to first, and Taylor is back. And, of course, I think the Brewers have that feeling as well, too. When you have that type of speed on the base paths in this situation, you're going to want to hold Taylor close. But that being said, here's the 1-1. Fly ball deep to center field. And that's going to drop for a double. That'll score Dylan Moore. That's a ground rule double.
It is a ground rule double, and my feed just went up, and now I'm debating whether you should still continue just for the good luck, or well, actually mine buffered anyway.
No, you're all good, man. I'm just filling in, man.
All right, so it looks like I finally got my feed back, and they're just showing the replay right now as Urias did it.
That was beautiful.
It was very beautiful. Now we got the top of the lineup, and this is a very opportunistic moment for the Mariners.
Absolutely. So one runs in, and here's JP Crawford. Runners on second and third, nobody out. This would be huge, especially
Let's see if he can make this happen. And here is the pitch. And now here's a ground ball that maybe can score the run, and he doesn't run at all.
No.
And JP didn't even bother getting tagged. Uribe didn't even bother tagging him.
That's kind of an interesting thing because you do have speed at third base, and that ball was up the first base line, and it wasn't really moving fast. It was actually an opportunity where Samad Taylor could have scored right there.
I really do think he should have scored on that one because and in the angle it would have been off from the throw. And now here's Julio. Can he show his clutch moment like he did against Boston? 1 out so far. Worst case, you got to get at least a sacrifice or somewhere in the gap. Here's the pitch. And here's a ground ball, and that should score in the run to tie the game. And the throw to first, and it's in time. But that ties the game, and the Mariners are still breathing. They are now alive at 5-5, and we are back to the way we were a couple innings ago. And good job on Julio for getting that.
Yeah, getting the RBI right there.
If only that ball just didn't bounce badly on JP Crawford, maybe be a little bit different. And I didn't blame much on JP Crawford. Like, I've grounded those. When that happens, I'm like, nope, I'll just let it pass. Now here's Polanco and that nice little swing he does, swing and a miss.
Oh, that was an ugly swing. Holy.
He's been doing that quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's turning over, and it's not his natural swing. You can tell that he was completely fooled and out in front of that pitch.
Really was. And now here is the 0-1 pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Jorge Polanco is now batting 167. He's had a little better game today.
1 for 4 on the day, and this would be, this would be nice to, to continue off the moment of the base hit, his last at bat.
Low for a ball.
This would be nice if he gets a pitch, middle in, and is able to drive something.
And now we're looking at a 2-1, and Polanco still has an opportunity to be the hero. Let's be the guy that actually was brought in for the reason to do so. And now we are looking at the 2-1 pitch. And that is low for ball 3-1.
And if you notice right now, Uribe is consistent with the slider down and in. And of course, Polanco's in a situation where first base is open. If he's not gonna get the fastball, he's probably just gonna take the walk, which opens the door for Haniger.
Let's hope that. But unfortunately, there is 2 outs. And they're walking him.
Yep. And this is the guy that you want up in this situation.
Mitch Haniger.
Let's go, Mitchell.
Can he do something? You got 2 men on base. Uribe is not pitching well. He has already blown the save. And you definitely want to go into the bottom of the 9th with a lead. Obviously, I know that's Captain Obvious, but what we're used to last year, Mariners tied the game, then didn't lead, and then the bottom of the inning was history.
But this also plays into the Mariners' hand, because if they actually happen to get a 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 9th, obviously,
and they have a man on second base.
Yep, leading off the top of the 10th, you're going to have a runner in scoring position, which plays very, very much into the Mariners' hand.
It really does. Here's the 1-0, and that's a strike. That was right down the middle. Haniger batting .259 with a home run and 4 RBIs. And that home run he hit was a very special moment. It really was, especially for his Mariners debut. Yeah. And now here's the 1-1. And he really tried to sell that to him. And that's going to be a 2-1 count on Mitch Haniger.
And they're not, and if you notice, they're not giving the high strike.
Nope. This ain't Boston series, buddy. Just telling you that, Brewers. And now here is the 2-1 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to center field, and that should do it for this inning. He makes the catch, and that will retire the side. But the Mariners, despite being down 5-3, they tie the game. And because of that, I need another breather.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And if you want those kind of services to fix the exterior part of the house, considering that the real estate market may pick up, you might want to be ready to stage your house in the right way. But yes, get that siding done, get the painting,
absolutely.
and even windows, and call that number and use my promo code to get 20% off. He's a good man. He gets his work done. He does work in the east side area mainly Seattle, Bellevue, or anything that says King County.
So if you're, if you're in Pierce County, you're hooped. Sorry, guys.
I'll try to convince him. Like, if someone from Pierce County is calling the number off of my YouTube, I'm gonna be like, no, go do it.
But if you're in Snohomish County, I think you're good.
Oh, Snohomish is where it's at right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Shout out to my Snohomies, man. And quick little shout out to all the fine folks in Granite Falls, Washington. I still got love for you.
I really do have a soft spot in that Snohomish and Monroe area. I've driven there. It's always gorgeous to drive there.
Oh yeah.
You're driving past Woodinville and you're just driving through trees. And now, by the way, we got Andres Munoz.
Yep. Tie game.
Yeah.
Tie game. Yeah. Bottom of the ninth. This seems kind of par for the course because Service does like to bring his closer in high leverage tie situations. I'm not necessarily a fan of bringing in quote unquote your closer in a tie situation, but this is something that Service has consistently done.
It's what he's known to do. And now here's the 1-0. And he's missing the strike zone 2-0. And this is where my butterflies are really kicking me really badly. And this is for Sal Frelick.
Yeah, Sal Frelick. This is exactly what you and I were talking about. Not necessarily having the faith in Munoz and being a ninth inning guy, being that high leverage guy that you can call out. Basically being a Paul Sewald type of guy. I've always thought he was better in the 7th and 8th inning situations as opposed to the 9th, but
yeah, more of a setup guy. That's why I miss Sewald. Like I just never saw Munoz as a closer, just never did, but hopefully he can prove me wrong. And now we're looking at a 3-1. Here's the pitch, and that is way outside ball 4. And like personally, I mean, I said it last year. I'm not saying it just because of right now, but I was saying it last year that I never really trusted him in the high leverage. And we did see it. We saw it when the game was close during the Tampa Bay game where the Mariners had a decent lead. And that was the Bryce Miller blister game. And I think that's Jake Bauers up to bat. And he is known to kill the Mariners too. Yep. When he was with the Yankees last year, he did kill them.
And I know that the progressive and progressive and positive wing of the Mariner fan base always likes to point to Munoz's his August reliever of the month award. And okay, great. I mean, it's one thing when you're doing against the Kansas City Royals, but it's another thing when the calendar turned to September and
it was the complete opposite. And actually,
that dude fell apart.
I was one of those people that said that he shouldn't have got the award because he still blew 3 saves in August.
Yeah.
And now here is the 1-0 pitch. And Munoz is just missing the strike zone. Only 1 strike throughout this inning. Yep. And if I were Scotty O, all right, no, at least you got Pete Woodworth coming up. So maybe he'll talk him and be like, hey, what's going on?
Because right now Munoz has not even thrown a strike yet. And it's it's never a good thing to walk the leadoff guy, put the winning run on board. But now you're in a situation where you get a little tentative now, and where you might be in a position where you're going to start to overthrow a little bit in this situation. And that's never good because you're going to leave something out over the plate. And as you mentioned, Jake Bauers can kill you.
Yeah. He really can, and he knows this team well. I mean, he knows like at least half of this team because he was part of it in 2021, if I'm correct. And now we're looking at a 2-0, 7 pitches in for Munoz. Here's the pitch, and that is foul ball. At least he finally found the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and Ringos makes. I like this point. Like, I think this is something we agree with. We were automatic with Munoz in the 8th and Sewald in the 9th. That made too much sense. It really did, especially in 22 when those guys were clicking.
Those 100%. And and now you're in a situation, especially when you get Brash back and you get Santos back, you're going to have an opportunity where I like the idea of potentially having Santos in the 9th inning, maybe even Stanek in the 9th inning.
I wanted Santos in the 9th inning. And now here's the 3-1. And that's a strike. He finally at least he has strike 2 on somebody. But I remember when it was spring training, I wanted at least a competition between those 3 for the closer spot. But because of those injuries, we never got to see that. But
I mean, you're talking about 2 guys that have experience in that 9th inning role. And I think it actually, it lengthens out your bullpen having guys like Brash and Munoz in that 6th, 7th, 8th role.
Here's 3-2, runner goes, and that is ball 4. And now you got runners on first and second with nobody out. And I wonder where any base hit wins the game. And I wonder who's up to bat right now, because you're getting close to the top
Terang.
of the inning. Yeah, it's Terang, and then after that, you're going to have the top hitters up, which.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pointing out that his velocity is way down. Used to throw 102, now tops out at 99. That's
still pretty
fast,
heavy, though.
But not what we're used to.
And Terang showing bunt.
Oh boy. And now here's the bunt showing, and he pulls away for a ball. And Munoz is doing the 99 Jose Mesa. That's what I'm seeing. Jose Mesa from July 15th, 99 against the Padres.
Joe Table.
That as well.
He set the table, baby. Jose Paniagua.
Here's the 1-0. And that is a ball. Oh, Jose Paniagua. He was an interesting one.
Jose Panty Waste.
That's why they traded him away for Jeff Cirillo, but unfortunately that didn't work either. And Fuentes.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, wasn't Brian Fuentes a part of that deal?
Yeah, he was. And now here's the 2-0. And he misses again for a ball, and that is now a 3-0 count. Hey, Mariner fans, are you feeling that? August pitcher of the month now?
Never bring your closer in at a tie game. It's a different situation, and it's a different mentality. And as you've seen, it can you can come off the rails so quick. And he obviously did that with Frelick and Bowers.
And now we're looking at a 3-1.
Oh,
we can.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're feeling it, or you've seen it. And now here's the pitch. And that is ball 4, bases loaded.
The dude has walked the bases loaded.
This is what you call the Jose Mesa.
Yeah.
And he does that little thing where he's like putting his hand down. That's literally Jose Mesa.
I'm sure since you've mentioned Jose, you've referenced Mesa a few times. I'm sure you remember the 97 World Series.
No, I mean I didn't watch it, but that's the reason why he lost his closer job to Mike Jackson. And how do I even know that?
Well, Jackson came in the 8th inning of that game. Jackson did his job, and then of course Jose Mesa blew the save, gave up the tying run.
Yeah, if it was 98, they would have won the World Series if the 98 Indians were playing. And yet Kenny Lofton, here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is a strike. And you get one walk, it is over. The only maybe positive thing I see out of this is maybe Service doesn't put Munoz in a situation, but he's done it before. He did it against the Mets when they were tied and gave up that single to Dan Vogelbach. Here's the 1-1, and that is a foul ball.
So now you're in a 1-2 count, which means you're in slider territory, especially to the right-handers. You're going to see if you can, get them out over, try to get a swing right here. Nope.
We're looking at it. Jackson's 0 for 4. I mean, you got to at least get this guy out. And now here's the pitch. And that is a foul ball.
Fastball came in with heat on the hands.
It looks like Munoz it looks like they already know their fastball, and it's not like his breaking stuff hasn't been that much effective either. He's a man with a straight arrow, but the breaking stuff needs a lot of work. This is where we need Matt Brash and Santos, and now here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 called, and finally the Mariners got an out. And Munoz.
There's the fastball up and away. And this is the interesting thing, because we've heard when everything is referenced to the Mariner bullpen machine, or whatever fans are calling it, you always hear about how the Mariners focus in on the slider, and the mechanics of that pitch and making that the focal point. And yet what we've seen consistently with our starters so far in the season, and also some of our members of our bullpen, they're very fastball oriented.
They do. All of them pretty much are. The only ones that are really not so much fastballs, like Spire and it's Saucedo. And Spire would have been useful in this situation. And now here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And by the way, Spire is off to a great start this season.
Yeah.
Saucedo, unfortunately, not so much.
And you brought up an interesting name, because Spire should have been the guy coming out of the bullpen to start this inning.
Now here's the 1-1. Oh, inside, and that nearly ended the game, especially when no lefties have been pitching at all. So much for the analytics, Scott. And now we're looking at the 2-1, and here's the pitch, and that gets away, and now you're down to your final ball, and if you walk this man, this game is over.
That's the ball game.
Yeah, exactly. William Contreras. Mariner fans are just holding on themselves, and looks like I know what's going to happen. And here's the 3-1, and that is ball 4. Take your base, and the Mariners have fallen, and the Brewers have won 6-5 off the walk by Andres Munoz, who basically Jose Mesa this freaking thing.
He walked the winning run, and I mean, it's absurd to think that your quote unquote closer could walk the bases loaded, but then again, you're in a situation where you're forced to throw strikes. You can't locate your fastball. You had better control with the slider, and yet you're still relying on a fastball. You can't even hit the strike zone with that pitch, and all of a sudden, all the good work the Mariner offense did to get themselves back in this game, all of a sudden it's negated. Not even 10 minutes later, it's gone.
And the worst part of it, it was just easily preventable. Like, it's not so much I'm blaming Munoz for it. I'm blaming that Scott should have just put in the right guy. Like, you could put, even if you put Saucedo, I would have been like, okay, I'm not agreeing with it, but it's not Munoz.
No, I mean,
like, do not waste
because
the
you had, correct me if I'm wrong, you had Frelick, who's a lefty, and then you had Bowers, who was a lefty, who they pinch hit.
So Spire would have been perfect.
If you brought in, you bring in Spire for the first batter against Frelick, and of course, it's not under the realm of possibility to think that even if they didn't pitch hit for Bowers, which they probably would have done in that situation, you're still going to have Spire versus a righty. This half inning does not go that route. If Service decided to go in a different direction. And the thing about this is these are the type of losses that you do look back as you're in August or in September, because these are the type of wins, or excuse me, these are the type of losses that come back to haunt you, because these are winnable games.
And it was winnable. Like, even when it was like 3-0, it's not like it was completely over, because at least Logan held down the fort quite considerably.
I thought Logan did enough to keep his team in the ball game, and the resiliency of the Mariner offense. I mean, at one point they're down 3-0. They come back, have the beginning, they get the 3, and of course, Milwaukee responds, but then again, so did the Mariners. They responded offensively and they tied the ball game. And now all of a sudden, in a situation where maybe your manager is overthinking it a little bit. And this is, these are the little things that absolutely bug the what out of me. Is trying to dip to that well instead of maybe even overthinking a little bit, when really the simple solution is when you have a lefty leading off, you play like he's the type of guy that likes to play the matchups, right? So why wasn't he playing the matchups?
Exactly, which it is very bothersome. And I feel like in our Mariners community, it's a very under-talked issue. Like, I go through every single one's YouTubes. Now, don't get me wrong, I love all you guys else, but no one talks about the decisions that Scott makes. Like, I never seen it. I feel like I'm the one that says it. And then there's everyone else goes, well, but he connects with the team well, but he's not making the decisions. Like, it seems that the Jordan decision was pretty much swept under the rug just because the Mariners made it in 22.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When he put in Robbie Ray against Jordan, even then, the analytics really did stack up against that when they were better off just keeping Paul Sewald in.
Right. He gets a lot of passes. And the reality is, and I've always said this about Scott Service, like if you have a young team where you have a lot of guys that are making their major league debut, as the Mariners were in 2020, 2021, Scott Service is probably the guy that you want, because he is a calming influences. But let's understand that from 2022, 2023, and now 2024, the Mariners, the window is open. This team is primed and ready to make a run into the postseason. Say what you want about roster construction, because you wouldn't be wrong. But that being said, it's having a proven winning manager that has been there and done that before, that has been in those situations, that knows how to press the right button. And I think a commenter earlier in the game said something about Joe Madden. For the last 3 years, I've been screaming Terry Francona's name over and over again. How awesome would that be to have a dude that's won World Series, manager who's won the World Series? Won a couple with Boston. Yeah, he's won a couple with Boston. Went to one with Cleveland in 2016. At a certain point, these questions have to be answered. It's like, I understand that he's Jerry DiPoto's boy, but the question really is, it's like, okay, cool. What's holding this team back? Is it coaching? Because I brought up the issue of philosophy. Let's understand that this team was built 2021, 2020, 2021. This team was built around slugging and OPS. There's a reason why they called it chaos ball, right? But when that's not going, what do you have to hang your hat on? And of course, a lot of this comes down to the decision making process of your manager. And I've always been an opponent to Scott Service. I think that he's good in certain contexts, but when you have a team that's primed and ready to win, this dude is not a winner.
He's not. And even the fun facts, like when he was with the Angels, he didn't even get any managerial experience out of it. He was actually an assistant general manager to Jerry DiPoto. So it was kind of bizarre. And yes, it was the whole friend kind of connection. And
yeah, for sure. But also he's not gonna rock the boat. He's a yes man. I mean, name another manager around Major League Baseball that has had this type of job security.
It's insane how much he's had kind of job security. And it's really that farm system has really bailed out Scott Service everything, because he's getting away with all this talent that he has. And Scott Service, he's had an amazing amount of talent throughout day one. He had the Cano, Seager, and Cruz core. And now he has arguably one of the greatest core in Mariners history, maybe second or third greatest core, probably just behind the 2001 and the 90s team. Like, and I said it earlier in the show, like Lou Piniella would punch CB Bucknor. He would hit CB Bucknor in the face with that base in 2002 to get this team.
100%.
Would love this team.
the thing that bugs me is that this team has a tendency to underachieve and play down to some of their opponents, when really, if they just focused on the things that they want to do and achieve from game to game, this team would be awesome. But yet, for whatever reason, they allow their opponents to dictate the terms of the ball game.
Yeah, and it's like, even with like considering how much this ownership has been terrible, it's like, but it's not like the ownership is the number one reason why they keep losing these games. Like, sometimes it can be mitigated by just making that one more good decision, because I said it last year, Mariners were just one more good decision away from easily making the playoffs or even running away with the
Sure.
division. But it didn't happen because
it didn't happen. You know, and you go back to last trading deadline. You know, the thing about it is I think if you looked at the trend of how this team plays, especially in the second half, that they were on the cusp of something decent. Because, I mean, if you remember, they started July pretty well. They had a very good month of July, keeping, treading water and keeping pace. And then, of course, the kill shot trade, where you trade away your best reliever and you don't add anything for a second half run. You don't add anything of substance. I mean, there's a reason why Cal Raleigh took him to task. It's like, listen, man, there's certain steps that you need to take to ensure that, as you just mentioned, they were one or two good things away from getting into the playoffs. And it's like, that was, you're 100% right. I just think that not only does this franchise not have the killer instinct, and that's to me, that's the bread and butter of it right there. It's like, listen, when you look at teams that 100% succeed year in and year out, and you can talk about payrolls, and that does play into it, but there is a consistency with some of those upper echelon teams that their leadership is top notch.
Yeah, exactly. And like, look at what Lou Piniella had to work with. Like, he took the team he took the Mariners consistently to the playoffs, considering the bad payroll. And I'll even say this too, like, even if the Mariners had unlimited payroll, like the Dodgers payroll, I don't think it would have been much different. At best case scenario, they would have been 100-win team, but then playoffs, same thing, because Dodgers also have that.
Well, what they would have done, what they would have had is they wouldn't have had off seasons like we just had, where you have to cut payroll in order to reshape your roster. Like, if there was a hole at third base, they would have just went and gotten a third baseman. You know what I mean? They would have went out and got Matt Chapman or whoever. You know what I mean?
Like Snell.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, there wouldn't be a need to cut $30 million off your payroll because you have to juggle things around.
But yeah, but it's really unfortunate. But I mean, at least the positives that we can address from this game was at least the offense did. Yeah. They were playing very resiliently. Like, even when they were down 3-0, like, the effort, you could still see the effort, and they were at least axing up on Peralta.
Yeah, listen, the things that you can take away was things you can take away is the way that they responded. They just didn't roll over. They put up fight, and that's something that's encouraging to me, because there was a couple comments from some of your viewers that would right when the the Brewers took a 2-0 lead off the home run by Oliver Dunn. A couple of your commenters said game over, and I was like, I kind of chuckled about it. It's like, there's far too much baseball left to be played. And of course, you saw their response. They did a very good job of responding. It's just, when you have that type of performance where your team shows heart and the resiliency to get back and fight and get back into this ball game, and then, to have the game end the way that it ended, it gets you angry.
It really does. And like, now, if the Mariners, if they lost completely 3-0, it would have sucked, but at least it wouldn't have felt as painful. Like, we would have accepted it. Like the Wednesday game, I was like, it sucked, but it was like, okay, it was a bad day. Like, nothing went right, but everyone has a game like that. But these are the type of games I care about. Like, the 100%. Wednesday game, I didn't care. I cared, but not like as much. But a game like this where you did make a comeback, those are the ones that hurt. And Mariners had too many of those games last year, and that's
Yeah.
why that's why they didn't make the playoffs. And it seems that unless they can turn it around, it may be the same case. Now, don't get me wrong, we're still like barely a couple weeks into
for
baseball.
Sure. We're not even 2 weeks into the season.
But it's something like you've got to make those adjustments like
For
now,
sure.
like because you don't want to trend and then have to. And then the other thing you don't want is to rely on another 14-game winning streak and another double 8-game winning streak or the August 23 kind of month.
Oh,
because
for
in
sure.
order for that to happen, someone has to either cause a fight or kick a cooler. And I don't think I want to have that kind of experience again.
Well, I don't think the cooler played into it. When you looked at the trends of last season and you saw what they were doing in July, where they actually took a crappy month, like they were terrible in June of last year, and then they flipped the switch a little bit in July and actually played a lot. Played so well that it sprung into that August. But I will say this though, that one of the keys for me coming into the season was getting off to a hot start and not being solely reliant on your pitching. Although your pitching had to be upper echelon, it was sticking to the game plan and not being so reliant on the home run. And I think when you look at tonight's game and you look at game 1 versus Cleveland. Granted, there was the 3-run home run in that game, but the aggressiveness of what the Mariners were trying to do in that game, they get the early 1-run, then they get the 3-run home run, so they had that nice little cushion. But the thing about this one tonight was the not flinching, right? Because time and time again, in the past, you would see these type of games where once you're down, they just seemed to roll over and showed no heart, no hustle, no fight. And I liked the response. That's something that you can take from this game, and that carries over. The Andres Munoz, it is what it is. You can just throw that into the scrap heap because chances are pretty good that the next time around, especially if the Mariners go into the 9th with a lead, that probably doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I would hope that, like, the moment Munoz came in, I was thinking exactly the Mets game when Vogelbach hit that potential go-aheader. But now we have a game tomorrow. Mariners still have 2 games left to make up. If they can win this series, then it's still a good momentum going into Toronto, because you don't want to lose the series going into Toronto. You really don't, because the Sky Dome has been one of the games where it's been very difficult for them. And
but historically, the Mariners do okay in Toronto. And even in recent history, they do okay in Toronto.
Yeah, for sure. And now let's take a look
you're
at,
right, though. Yeah, you're right, though. As far as momentum goes, you don't want to go into Toronto on a series loss.
You don't.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're gonna conclude this real soon, but we got the next game is going to be, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Bryce Miller. He is up to the mound. Now I just gotta see who is going to be the next guy. It's going to be Hall. The DL Hall is going to be the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the Mariners can figure that out. And the coverage will begin. The game is going to be at 4:10 Pacific Daylight Time. And as of now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to the game yet. Depends on my work schedule, because # don't quit your day job. But if I do make it, I'll let you guys know, and we'll see from there. And before we conclude this, just want to take a look at some of the comments. Ringo, to answer the question, I have been watching baseball my whole life. I don't know if I've ever seen someone come on tied in the bottom of the 9th and walk 4 hitters. And before I really read that, I was going to say Jose Mesa 99, but we had a lead. So I guess that's not it.
Well, I think I remember the last guy off the top of my head, the last guy that came in and walked the bases loaded. Might have been Rick Vaughn in his major league debut. Yeah, Ricky Vaughn.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside, yeah. In his major league debut.
Ball 8. And then Clue
All
Haywood,
12.
Clue Haywood hit that grand slam homer, and he hit a guy because he was pissed. And he's like, "What? It just went right over the plate." Those late 80s baseball movies don't
Yeah.
disappoint. And it seems to be that's what the 80s were. It was all about the baseball movies, and the 90s was about the basketball movies, and
Yeah.
then I think
Clue
2000s
Haywood
was
leads
all
the
football.
Clue Haywood leads the American League in home runs, hits, RBIs, and nose hair. When this guy sneezes, he looks like a party favor.
He does. Well, that's gonna do it. And I must say, it was a pleasure to meet you. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Like I think
it's
our
good, man.
play-by-play and color like really blended in, and you could tell
Yeah,
what our
sure.
chemistry was by the way we adjusted the seventh inning stretch like on the fly.
Well, it was, I've never done something like this, and it was fun, man. I really appreciated you having me on, and and I'll return the favor, and I'd love to have you on the program as well too, and
Yeah, because let's grow your channel, because I think
sure, yeah,
a vacancy that we kind of have in our Mariners community is the content creators that will point the things out. Like, don't get me wrong, I like everyone. I love what they do. I'm not going to take away their hard work, but they happen to attract they attract a different audience than the audience that we attract. And
sure.
we're the ones that want to be like, we don't want to talk like how the media talks. Like, we're not
Right.
we're not 710 ESPN Seattle.
Well, right. We have no affiliation to the Seattle Mariners. We're not the canned good times, good vibes, or whatever the hell you call it, of Root Sports. That's not us at all. As a matter of fact, we're Swanee and I are two old school Mariner fans that are not afraid to take players to task. I mean, if you're not performing, we're going to call you out. A game like this, I would absolutely lose my what on the air. But the thing about it is we personally believe that this team has the wherewithal, has the resources to win a world championship, and it's just it's beyond me why this team hasn't even been to a World Series.
It's beyond me why they're having a start like this, because with the personnel they have, they really should not have a start like this.
You're right. And that's, that is, a lot of people will call me negative. It's not negative, man. I've just been around forever, and I've seen it. I've been there and done that. I've seen it. I know what this team is capable when they're running good, and when they're running good, they're capable of winning a World Series.
I mean, we saw it last year. They showed that they could have, and if they made it to the playoffs, they would have had an easy path to the World Series, and all they would play was Arizona.
Probably. And I think and that's the thing. It's like, I'm just at that point where I just don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear the spin, the Mariner PR spin. I don't want to hear the fluff, come correct and just tell it like it is. Cause if you're not, I'm going to, and it is what it is. Like, if, I don't have time, I don't have the time to worry about feeling, you know what I mean? It's, let's understand, I'm 42 years old. And I've been associated with this team, and I've been watching this team since I was 6 years old. And there's a very good possibility that another 40 years can go by, and this team still has not seen a World Series. That's a real possibility, and it would be an absolute shame.
What would be a shame too is wasting Julio Rodriguez's career, considering that he has basically a career-long contract. And just think about it, 20 years from now, Julio could be victimized as the man who never got to the World Series, just like Griffey, just like Edgar.
like think about it. Like, yes, Edgar went to the postseason, Junior went to the postseason in a Mariner uniform, but none of them seen the World Series. They wasted the careers of Junior, Edgar, Buhner,
Ichiro,
Felix Hernandez, Kyle Seager. Some of the most loyal players in Mariners history never got to, and especially Felix and Seager, never got to taste the postseason. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's like, they got Julio on a team friendly lifetime contract. And it's like, man, you've seen it once, but good Lord, it would be an absolute shame, man.
Good thing Julio's agent wasn't Scott Boras, because he would have laughed at that contract. He would have laughed it out of the building. that's gonna do it, and we'll keep you updated if I'm back for tomorrow and hopefully Sunday. And Steve, we'll keep in touch to see
Absolutely.
when we'll do another game, and would love to be on your show someday as well to help you grow, so we could grow a community of our own.
And if you guys just want to talk baseball, you can always find me on Twitter at Swinging Pod.
There we go. And that's going to do it. Thank you very much for being on the show. Go Mariners, and hopefully they will rebound back for the next 2 games.